Oh, God.
Hello, welcome to the Big Sky. Hello. We'll have to edit that. Welcome to the Beer Buds and the Big Sky podcast with Ryan.
Hello,
Steve.
baby.
Hey.
And Mike Jopek.
How are you, Ed?
And, of course, me, Ed. Today we got a special guest from WTF 406. Who is our guest today, Kevin? Mike?
Well, this is Helena.
We can't hear her.
I don't think Helena's.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, we can hear her now.
Yeah. And Helena's from Great Falls, right? Isn't that true?
Right, I'm in Great
G-Funk.
Falls.
Tell us a little bit about WTF 406. I like the sounds of it.
Well, back in about 2021, a couple local activists, myself, Ken Toole, Jasmine Taylor, we really were worried about the lack of any kind of news, actually. Newspaper, our Tribune was decimated. It's mainly moved to Helena now. There's no local reporters. I mean, there are a couple now, but there's not any real reporting of what's happening in our county. And a lot of what's happening here, too, is being broadcast out to people on really right-wing channels. And so we wanted to give people a kind of filtering of that news through a more progressive, like left-leaning lens so that people could understand some of the things that are going on in our county and give that perspective to it that isn't being told by other people.
Okay, so you're mostly focused in, is that Cascade County?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, well, Great Falls is, some people here, we call it the G-Funk. And so that's where What the Funk came from. And already, we weren't shying away from the F word per se, but it was already taken as well. So
Yeah.
that's why we went.
Well, it sounds like the whole state needs you, not just Cascade. I
And that's
guess.
a 2 on the license plate, Ed.
Cascade's 2.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yep.
Cascade is
Okay.
2.
Yeah.
I thought it
R2.
was Yellowstone.
No, Yellowstone's 3.
3.
Yeah.
Silver Bowl's 1 still.
Silver Bow's 1.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
In the early
Oh, yeah.
days. And didn't Silver Bowl get 1 just because it was the capital originally or something?
I think it had the most
we
people.
don't,
Most people.
we don't need to get into that. We don't pay for the Zoom, so we only got like 20 minutes, so we better. Anyway, so.
But I got affiliated a little bit with Helena because Ken Toole sent out this email talking about.
Yes, that's what I wanted to get into.
Yeah, Ken Toole sent out this email that said, look, there's all these rumors going on, and how am I doing?
You were doing great. Now you're not.
Now I'm not anymore?
There, try that.
There we go. So Ken Toole sent out this email, and you know Ken Toole, he used
Yeah.
to be on the Public Service Commission.
PSC, yeah. He was a legislator.
Rights, Network back in the day. He was a state senator, actually, when I was up in Helena. Good guy. But he had sent out this email that indicated that, boy, there's all these rumors going around that some Democrats are working with Republicans to elect moderate Republicans in places like Great Falls.
Yeah, right.
And so he sent out this column that Helena had done, which I thought was fascinating because it talks about moderate Republicans and their voting habits, which I'm familiar with. I got
Yes.
some tidbits on it, but so Helena put together this column, and maybe you want to talk about it.
And you sent that. That's what we read. You sent it to
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Helen, please.
Right. So I've been hearing about this kind of moderate push. It may be funded by some outside groups more now, but ever since I got involved in politics in Great Falls area, for example, Ed Buttrey is a moderate Republican who's been elected to the legislature many times, and he's also a really key person to help get Medicaid expansion through in a bipartisan fashion. And so I've heard people express the sentiment that we shouldn't run a Democrat against him because he's someone we can work with. And of course, I strongly disagree with that because even when you elect these moderates, so-called moderates, to the legislature, yeah, maybe they'll vote your way on a couple things like right to work legislation and also Medicaid expansion, but they will throw you under the bus every day on the environment, on women's rights, on LGBTQ rights, until, we're falling off a cliff to the right. Where's the moderation? I'm just tired of people using the word moderate. you're just saying a Republican that'll vote the way I want a couple times. That's really what you're going to elect. And then we've heard recently, there's kind of been more of a push to fund some of these independent Republican light, but they're still a Republican candidates. And it's really going to undermine our Democratic candidates. If you want to change politics in our state, and especially in a left-leaning manner, you're going to have to do the hard work of electing Democrats and people that are, aligned with you on the left, if they're not Democrats at least. And that work isn't being done when you're funding and pouring money into races to make them even more upside down. You're not going to pick up votes for up ballot races either. And so then that throws our statewide candidates under the bus too.
So you're saying these are Democrats? These are Democrats that want to fund these moderate so-called Republicans.
They absolutely are. When we've had, in other statewide races, when people thought that an independent would get it done, Democrats were supporting like Gary Buchanan when he was running for Congress. And it really hurts our Democratic candidates, not just the opponent of that moderate, but all the other Democrats on the ballot with them. How are you going to rally voters when you're not even proud enough to put up your candidate on the ballot? That's ridiculous. And so I just wanted to, in that article I wrote, it was really just stressing that this doesn't even do what you want it to do. Medicaid expansion was pretty popular. And so, yeah, we got it across the finish line in 2024. But then look what the federal government does, slashes funding for Medicaid. We're already expecting around 40,000 Montanans to lose their insurance. So what was even the point of doing that? It doesn't help us at all. And so I'm really glad we're talking about it tonight. And I hope that it helps get out the message to people that kind of buy into this idea that we really can do better and the voters deserve better than this idea that a moderate's the answer. It's not.
Oh, I completely agree. And you see a lot of Republicans that will vote with Democrats knowing Gianforte is just going to veto the bill or something federally is going to happen. So they don't give a fuck. They just don't. And they know. They might, appease their voters for a minute. And the voters will think that's a good thing. And then everybody's memory's gone a month later, and it doesn't matter. They get what they want. I mean, it's pretty brutal. I'm really happy to see that you guys are kind of stepping out and talking about this stuff. Are you guys going to have some representation at the convention next weekend?
Absolutely. All of our 4 voting members are coming from the E-board. I'll be there. And
are they voting for Joe Peck?
We'll see. Joe Peck's got to talk to us at the convention, right?
He will.
But yeah, we've got actually a couple candidates for the board as well coming from Cascade County. So I'm interested to see, not for chair, for vice chair and the Eastern District member, but I'm interested to see how our convention pans out. I know that there's a lot of awareness, at least starting to become awareness coming up from Democrats about this kind of division in the party, people fearing we're going too socialist, which of course I think is
so
ridiculous.
stupid. So stupid.
And then people thinking we need the centrist Democrats. That's happening in our county, but I know it's not just Great Falls, it's in other places in the state.
I have a couple quick questions for you, Helena. It's Helena?
Yeah.
Okay. From Great Falls, though.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I was a little confused there at the beginning, but it's not too hard to confuse me.
Look, his beard is very big.
It's like a
so-
cat.
Yeah, it
I'm
is
like a
big.
cat with a laser
A lot of
pointer
ABV.
sometimes. First of all, so what I think you're saying is that, we need to run a Democrat against somebody like a moderate Republican because we need a Democrat in the race, period. It's not like the moderate Republicans are going to get pushed further right because we run a Democrat against them. They're pretty moderate anyway, and they're not going to change those views just because they had to defeat a Democrat in their race. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think it'll change the politics of the Republican in the race. And if it does change them, ideally it would pull them a little more moderate, more left, if they're trying to defend some of their positions that are unpopular against a Democrat. In Cascade County in 2024, we couldn't even get, a couple of our districts filled with a candidate.
Oh.
And that hurts other races in the state. Tester won several districts in our county, and we only won one legislative district in Great Falls. And so we really need to do some work to get strong candidates and support them. And these kind of efforts really undermine that. And I think would ultimately destroy the Democratic Party or the left-wing politics in the state. If you're just going to keep supporting centrists, you're going to lose the efforts of new voters and the new volunteers to support candidates if there's not a good candidate that anyone believes in.
What do you think about, how, what's going on right now? If hospitals do close down, if, this many Montanans lose their Medicaid and all these dominoes start falling, in my opinion, it should make life a little bit easier for Democrats, and it's time to pounce, not time to support more fucking Republicans. I mean, it seems like this is as dire as I've seen it in the 25 years I've been in Montana. During Schweitzer and Bullock and even Martz and Roscoe, we didn't have any of this turmoil. None of them were billionaires. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a difference, I think. There is. These were definitely more normal, regular people. Even Judy Martz, I will say that about.
I don't know. She was
Maybe not normal,
skater.
but she's a
That's
garbage
not normal.
man, so whatever. But it does seem, in my opinion, this is time to pounce. Time to get it done, and that's why we're supporting Mike for the chair. And I got nothing bad to say about anybody else in this party. I think they're all believing in the right things, but the drama and the bullshit's got to stop and get together and pounce on it while the Republicans themselves are in turmoil right now.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, it's really clear we need a change in our leadership at the state party. So I'm really excited to see there's some energy around the convention. I feels like a lot of times we're pretty crickets.
Yeah,
And
boring.
I agree about the time to pounce thing. I think people are reacting rather than being on the offensive about what's coming. Like, they're reacting to something that already happened. That's already, we lost elections with Trump on the ballot. That's what happens in Montana lately, and that's what keeps happening to Democrats. But this election in 2026 is like a great chance to pick up seats and to get some energy back around what the party can actually do for the people. And so it's like, yeah, you're right. It's completely counterintuitive to what we actually need to do.
Yeah, those seats in Great Falls are the same amount of Democrat quotient as you would find in Havre, as you found when I first ran in Whitefish. They're in those 40s, 45 kind of DPQ, Democratic Party quotient. Very winnable races.
Yeah, right. Especially in a midterm.
Especially in the midterm, if you want to do the work, if you find the right candidates, if you actually build some enthusiasm, winnable races. I mean, look, the population of Great Falls, like Schweitzer was talking about a couple of weeks ago, hasn't changed.
No.
People aren't moving in, and they're not necessarily moving out. It's a very similar electorate than it used to be. And it used to be, when I was in Helena, that it was Democrats that came from Great Falls.
Yeah.
That was a Democratic,
people.
a lot of union
Yeah,
people.
big time.
Yep.
Even with it always being very military. But the military switched a lot, too. It seemed like the military used to be a lot more independent, and but now they love the Trump.
Well, if they don't have mail-in
They
ballots, they're
love
not
the
going to
Trump.
be. We'll see if they're allowed to vote. or
Yeah,
not.
you're right. Yeah, you're right. I mean, oh my God. Well, what's your plan? Like, what is your plan to talk to these? I don't know what I want to call them, but these Democrats that are pushing this agenda of supporting these moderate Republicans. Is there a campaign out there, or are you emailing, or what's the plan? How to get these people together and get them to stop doing this, basically?
I think the only thing is things like this podcast and that article we wrote, and then talking to people one-on-one. I know there are people, like, for example, they were trying to push more moderate, I keep saying moderate with quotes, candidates for our city commission race. Yes, it's a nonpartisan race, but most people's politics are pretty clear.
Yeah.
And they weren't happy with the slate, and they wanted more moderate people to run. And I'm like, if you've already got a good candidate that's engaged and exciting, even if they're a little more energetically to the left than you would like, why dilute that? Why lower your odds of winning by splitting the vote like that? It just drives me crazy. So I think the answer is just awareness and education to people about this, and speaking with passion on the issue. I mean, let's not be complacent and little roll over for people. That's what that kind of strategy is doing for Democrats. And let's actually show that we can win more races. Democrats can win in Cascade County. Tester won 3 districts but we only won one of those for the legislative district. And so we got 2 pickups this midterm, and I think it's a great opportunity to start shifting more the legislative makeup. So it's actually a wonderful opportunity for Democrats, as long as we don't, shoot ourselves in the foot on the way there.
Is the party helping you out financially at all? Are you in talks with the party? Has Robin Driscoll, have you talked to her? Are they willing to? I mean, if you got winnable seats, it seems like something they would want to jump on.
A lot of times, Great Falls is kind of the ugly stepchild of the state. You guys probably know that.
Yeah, well, it's not so Great Falls. I get it.
Yeah,
Magic
I went
City,
to high
come
school
on.
here. I know its reputation.
Electric City.
I've been here half my life.
Sorry,
But,
yeah, I got mine.
Great
Sorry.
Falls has a ton of
I'm a West
potential. And if we can show our engagement, maybe at the convention, we can be a little better ambassadors for our
Yeah.
county. I think we're doing exciting stuff here, and I think that that's the trend of our state. As long as we do the work together rather than starting to split off and get scared of things that already took place. Let's move on to the future.
I think one of the things, the party's not listening to central committees. They should be helping the
right.
central committees, find the candidates, to provide the data, to provide the support. It seems to be kind of like top down. This is what you're going to do. You're going to do it this way. And that doesn't work.
It doesn't work. It can't work.
No.
Nothing works that way. It really doesn't. And and I don't think that the Democratic Party of Montana has a whole lot of money, but I also think they've got ways to get a whole lot of money. There are people that are pissed off right now. There are people that want to see some real change.
Yeah, but this whole uniparty concept that that people are talking about, that they want to just elect more moderate and that kind of stuff. I mean, that's the same thing that's happening in Columbia in Kalispell.
Yeah.
You remember all the shenanigans that were going on when people said, "Don't run against Frank Gardner,
Right.
don't run against Courtney Sprunger."
You're right.
And because we can work with them. Well, you got one vote out of them, but you have to remember it was Frank Gardner who voted to dismantle Whitefish's workforce housing program. When Debo Powers brought the bill up to bring it back to Whitefish, it was Courtney Sprunger who killed it in committee. And so those are the moderate Republicans
you
that
don't
we're
support
talking
them.
about.
You're right.
They're actually sticking it to your hometown folks.
Yeah, nope, and you're right. You make a great point. I mean, God, I hate to diss on Frank because I really like the guy, but I get exactly what you're saying. Oh boy, hi Lord Vader. We should close that door. The dogs always come in here. Sorry about that, Helena.
Not that hard to do.
That's fine.
Anyway, what else we got for Helena?
Well, so I'm glad you brought that up, Mike, the whole top-down approach, because I was going to ask Helena about it. It's one of the main problems I have with the national party of the Democrats is I don't think they have a young voter problem or a Latino problem or a working class people problem or a young male voter problem. I think they have a Democrat problem.
Yeah,
And
an
what
organizational problem.
And what I mean by that is it feels like the entire party is made up of officials and staffers and pundits and consultants and donors and politicians who couldn't give a shit less about turning the wishes of their constituents into actual policy. It seems to me like it's the reverse, where the platform is mandated from on high by wealthy donors, prestigious members of the media, and then they send that out to the Democrats, who in turn try to convince all their constituents that this is the platform they should be seeking. So have you seen any of that in Montana? Because that's my main problem with the Democrats right now.
I don't, obviously the national party isn't really talking to Cascade County, but I'd say the state party does. That is part of the disconnect about how we don't work as effectively together as we can. A lot of it is not listening to what we're doing here, not listening to our local candidates, telling the party, I know this happened during the last cycle, telling the party that the way they were splitting up the turf cuts, the door lists that they were only allowing their targeted campaigns to knock, and because they had MOUs and memos about how to use the voter file, They weren't allowed to knock on doors they needed to turn out, and they really think that did damage their chances. The party needs to listen to people that actually live in the communities about what we need, especially when they're doing so much good work. I mean, I think, it should be, of course, bottom up all the way. And I think that Cascade County, and I know other counties are doing amazing work, other central committees, but I'm the vice chair of the local Democrats. I don't know if that came out, but I am really excited about the work we're doing to turn around and change politics in Cascade County. I think that is I think that's the inspiring part of politics. It's not really inspiring to me to be told something to do by a consultant in DC that I've never met in my life. That's where I would think we really should just listen to the people where they're at and meet that moment.
Right.
Yeah, that hits the nail on the head.
Well, and it's, it's funny you say that you're the redheaded stepchild of Montana, living in Flathead County, where it's like, I don't know. Ed and I don't really consider ourselves, liberal or Democrats, but, here in the Flathead, the word Democrat, I would imagine, polls on par with MS-13 and below pedophiles.
Yeah, definitely below pedophiles, without a doubt. I travel with a gun now because of this
So it's an
podcast.
uphill battle for any Democrat in Flathead County.
It is very tough here, yeah.
But then you find a Democratic candidate. You find somebody like Russell Cleveland, or
somebody you can relate with.
And they're out there working, and the first thing the party says to them, well, you want our data, you have to pay for it.
Right.
Unbelievable.
The party should be giving data out free to legitimate candidates.
We got to pay all these consultants.
Without a doubt.
Give them the tools they need.
Mike, you're 100% correct.
And one of the other things the party really should be doing is they should be taking the executive committee and going to places like Great Falls and have the hearing there.
Yes.
To go into places like Havre and have the hearings there. Don't just do it in Zoom in the town of Helena.
Right.
You got to get out of this remote work mentality that they got going on at the party. Get the people working again and actually going to the towns where the races are happening.
Partying with the people, I like to say. Throw a few back,
We need a few more
Mingle.
pig roasts, right?
A few more
Some
pig
pig
roasts,
roasts.
some ice cream socials, maybe some bouncy houses.
Well, it seems like Montana is not like
Kevin can't go to those. He got
a lot
banned
of this
from
stuff
those a
about the
while
Montana
ago.
Democrats kind of blows my mind. It doesn't seem like we are the kind of people like just this conversation doesn't seem like it would be happening in Montana. This would be happening in Connecticut or Maryland, or Wisconsin. Not in Montana, and I don't know how to change that, but I know some of these people involved without a doubt, and they've got this aura about them that they like being important. They like knowing important people, and these important people tell them what to say. They raise money to get information from these important people, but when they do something like not giving information out to candidates that are legitimate, it is. I mean, what the fuck are you doing as a party, and where's your leadership and where's your organization at? Because it doesn't say a whole lot for them, and of course. We're going to go to the convention next week, and I think some people will not like what we say. I get it. But Ryan just said, we're not super liberal, not super Democrat. I'm definitely not a Republican. I own a bunch of businesses. You could call me a conservative, I say that to save my life sometimes at Home Depot. but other than that, because it's not a complete lie, But, we were talking before the show, Mike and I said, with this infighting and all this bullshit going on and these people talking about everybody else, calling each other out online, all this stuff, it's like somebody's got to say, hey, stop this fucking shit, get your shit together, grow the fuck up, because the Republicans are doing this right now. Another time to pounce. They've got a lot of issues with themselves. Look at Lou Jones now, who he just got rated at 13% for a conservative.
Oh, yeah, the Montana for the Liberal government gave him a 13%. That's Regier is the chair of that particular committee.
Kim Jong-lu.
Kim Jong-lu, as Ed Nyland like to call him.
They're trying to give him the boot. They figured out that he's the leader of the Nasty Nine. And
you knew that, and they also said they're giving the whole nine the boot. They're not going to support their campaigns. They're not going to give them any money.
They're in court right now.
It's insane. It's insane. Yes,
insane.
And hopefully at the convention, there can be a fucking olive branch between these factions, and get everybody together, and somebody there, some leader, step the fuck up and say, hey, let's deal with this. We've got an opening. we might not get an opening again. You know, who knows what's going to happen? I mean, and I really like what you guys are doing. I checked out the website, and like I said, I've met Ken in the past, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next weekend in Livingston for sure.
Yeah. Who's the
that
vice
sounds
chair? Who's the vice chair candidate that's running? Is it Nikki?
No, Rena Fontana Moore.
Rena. Yeah, she seems like a nice lady. I chatted with her the other day.
So you don't run for re-election in this, or what's up? Because Noonan's vice chair right now, right?
I don't think he's running. I haven't seen his name on the
And
ticket.
him and Driscoll just said they're not running. They could run again if they wanted.
Oh yeah. you
Okay,
could-
okay. I just want to know. I didn't really know the rules of that stuff. I'm pretty excited. I can't wait. I can't wait to eat at Mark's in Livingston. I like
Mark's
that.
In and Out, yeah.
I'm gonna have a couple.
But
probably
Great Falls
3.
doesn't have anybody on the executive board currently, does it?
What?
No.
Uh-oh.
Kevin.
And I just want to say one thing before it kicks me out because you guys are running low on meeting time here. But for me,
Oh, you saw that? How embarrassing!
I kind of wanted to build on what you said before I let you guys go. But you know, a lot of people think they're these consultants and people that are political thinkers like to think that we're playing 4-dimensional chess or something in Montana.
Right. Yeah.
But what I would say to that is, there's no magic solution. This effort to bolster our moderates by pouring money into it is not the answer.
No.
What you need to do is you do the regular work, you do the hard work, the day-to-day work, recruit a good candidate, support that candidate, knock doors for that candidate, go give them money, help them get their campaign literature, get their signs out. That's not glamorous to say, we got to do something strategic, but that's what will get us to a better future and a better political outcome, because that's how you win voters, by showing your passion, meeting them one-on-one, being authentic and real and actually sincere in what you present to them, rather than trying to sell them some moderate that you don't even like yourself.
So you're saying?
I've got this little book called How to Win a Local Election. I'll bring it with me.
Oh, is
next
that how
week.
you got on city council?
Hell yeah.
exactly.
I thought you paid people.
I read a book. Yeah, I read a book, and that's how I did it. Yeah.
Oh, books are
I'll
hard.
bring that next week because it has everything in it that you just said, and you have to.
But
do
how the
work.
fuck does
You have to do
Zeke
the
and
work.
Danes and
Well,
Gianforte
as a
win?
Democrat, you have to do the work. Like you have
Yeah.
to do
You're right.
the work.
You do. You do.
Max
You do.
Baucus said he knocked on every single door in the state of Montana when he got elected first time to the Senate. Which
All
is
the
a big
Schweitzer
deal.
stories,
Yeah.
what he did. He
You
worked his ass off.
yeah,
He had
you go
no
talk to
chance in
people.
hell.
Yeah.
You know,
But by talking to people, he won.
we have to. We can't.
You
Like
know,
the
you got
Republicans,
people-
you just put an R by your name and you got an advantage.
There's people out there right now that just, they're not Schweitzer fans, and they're Democrats. And I'm like, come on. Because you're endorsing Mike, because you're saying this, because you're saying that, because you're being critical of the party. Well, Jesus Christ, somebody has to be critical because you're fucking losing all the time.
Well,
I mean,
right.
aren't you getting sick of it? Like, you got to take the criticism. If you're not making it better, you're making it worse, way fucking worse. And that's what they're doing. I
Yeah,
mean, it's
we got to get over losing and start winning. Get that winning
Yes.
mentality going. What
I hate losing.
It just sucks. What Steve's talking about is the hard work. I remember when I was running in 2003, 2005. I get so many people saying, I don't actually agree 100% with what Joe Peck is saying, but damn it, he's a hard worker.
Yeah.
And people really appreciate that work ethic. They want to be
think
on
they
that
do.
team.
Yep, I think they do. Well, it's funny you say they want to be on that team. Like the mentality of the average voter votes for very wealthy people because they think they're going to be rich because they want these wealthy people in power.
When my
It's
ship
like,
comes in, I want my taxes low.
yeah, yep, which ain't going to happen. But the voter mentality is different. We've got a lot of ill-informed voters. We do. And the reach out on the Democrats have been horrible. Like, I have no idea why there isn't billboards around the state with Robin's face on it, talking about these policies that are horrible for Montanans, talking about these things that are happening. Nothing. Yeah. There's nothing. There's nothing. I mean, and that tells me there's either no money or all that money is going to consultants that basically tell us how to lose.
A lot of the money is going to the consultants, and Democrats want to be nice. Democrats
they do.
always want to be nice.
Fucking
they want the
pussies.
nice team. And this is not nice politics going on right now.
Politics aren't nice, and they are never nice. I mean, it's just that day's it's long gone. I mean, it is.
Mike, we're going to run out of time. No,
Yeah, we are.
Ed, sorry, we're going to run out of time. So maybe we should say bye.
We'll give her the last word.
Yes,
Before-
let's give you the last
Before
word.
she
And
gets
how the
cut
hell
off.
are you going to fix Montana, Helena?
I say we just got to do the work. So I appreciate you
Perfect.
guys giving a platform to this kind of effort and, trying to be more open about the future we can have rather than having a defeatist attitude. So thank you for that and appreciated the chat
Yeah.
tonight.
And Helena, how do people sign up for your website?
Oh yeah.
Give us a shout out on the website.
We'll go to WTF406.com and you can sign up. We send out the emails about our newest articles. I just have one going up tomorrow about our stupid county attorney switched his party affiliation because
yeah.
he's scared he wouldn't win. So you'll have a fun article to read
yeah,
on that.
I
I
just
was
heard
very
about
nice
that.
to him in that article. So, things like that go out from our blog all the time. So
Do the work. I believe it was Britney Spears who said, "You want a hot body? You better work, bitch."
Yeah.
There's an old funk song.
Of course
called
you would
All right,
know
guys.
that.
Maybe we
Okay, we'll see you at the
Bye.
convention. Thanks, Helena.
Bye.
Oh my God, that's funny. Oh, man.
Do the work.
Remember that song? You want a
No, I
Maserati?
don't- I
You
don't
better
remember
work,
anything from
bitch.
Britney
You want a
Spears.
hot
It's that old
body?
70s
You
funk
better
song.
work,
Do
bitch.
Is there
the
any
work.
genre you don't listen to?
I don't know. I just remember stuff.
He does.
God, don't you want to forget stuff?
Believe me. Yeah. Story of my life.
Thank God I'm not like you.
But going back to the Lou Jones
is
thing,
liquid,
I mean, the
forget.
Republicans are going after him
Yes.
big time right
well,
now.
and they're going to go after anybody they see as crossing them.
And, they want to say, oh, he's liberal. Lou Jones
He's
is
not a fucking liberal.
No,
Is
I
he
mean,
from,
you
like,
look at
Columbus?
the stuff he votes on.
Is he
it's
from
horrific.
Columbus? He's from over there, isn't he?
The
Columbus?
Shodo area, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
Shodo.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. You better not be a liberal there. No,
Yeah.
no. He wouldn't be alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
He
you
would be
even look
dead.
at like the scorecard on this nasty nine. Lou was like the lowest scorecard out of the Montanans for limited government, and all those nasty nine people, they're getting in the 80s. Just because they voted for Medicaid is what made them so mad, and it was in Gianforte's budget.
And like we were, yes, that was like we were saying, that was no big achievement.
Yeah.
And it wasn't any, I mean, how many Republicans out there were that mad that they work with Democrats over that? Really none. And knowing what's coming down the pike federally, who gives a shit? They're going to lose anyway. I mean, somehow
They
we're going
made
to
money for it, yeah.
Oh, nice, yeah. And Ryan's got one too, I think. Anyway, so I think what they're doing is extremely necessary. I'm sure they're pissing some people off, but instead of those people being pissed off, I think they should appreciate a new approach, because I think a new approach is completely necessary. And Mike, you've been out of the political game for quite a while, and I think by you coming back shows that you're somebody that's ready for a new approach. You're like, fuck it, I'm getting back in. I want to do this. We got to win.
Well, one of the things I've learned is, look, I said melodrama. Stop the melodrama, Missoula. And I got 2 hours of melodramatic phone calls from lawmakers in Missoula telling me, how dare I use the word melodrama. It was like when I was
What? And they're
texting
making
those
it
guys
worse.
when they were in session to say, hey, will you cut our property taxes? They went crying to the news that I had texted them on their public text number, and was like, oh my goodness, people. And so one of the things I discovered is, I'm kind of hard-headed, and that's actually what the Democrats need.
Definitely need that.
They need somebody
Definitely need that.
hard-headed who's willing to say, knock off the shit. We're not doing that. We're going to focus on winning races.
Yes.
And look, you guys can swim in that drama all you want, but that ain't going to win nothing.
No, and again, doing the work, talking to the people. Like I have a cook, and wears his Trump T-shirt, and he loves Trump. He tells me straight up, my family did the best from '92 until 2000 when Clinton was president. I'm like, and you love Trump? Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, I don't even know where to start here. You know what I mean? But that's a big part of.
It's a cult of personality at this point.
It
It's
is.
not-
It
nothing-
really is. Because again, when Clinton won and
He could take a
Carville's
shit on their
thing.
grama's grave and they would still love him. I mean, that's
Well,
how,
right.
That's
They
how
would love
bad it
Trump.
is.
Exactly.
That's why I love Ted Nugent.
Ideology is what people are voting for right now. And I don't think that's sustainable. I hope not. Well, when you run out of money, it's not sustainable. And people are running out of money right now. Things are not cheaper at all. They keep going up, in fact.
I filled up my tank yesterday. I've never paid more for a tank of gas than I did yesterday.
No, come on.
Well, I mean,
It was like $4.75 like 5 years during COVID or something, wasn't it? Right before it or something.
Ground beef all-time high.
Ground beef right now
Coffee,
is $6.5 bucks.
$16 a pound.
Oh my God, my coffee
Electricity
went
is
up,
up like what, 10%?
can't-
Gasoline is still super high.
Oh, yeah, you look at anything, baby strollers through the roof,
Golf bags. A golf bag. The cheapest
Everything's
golf
go-
bag at Sportsman's like $300.
Yep.
Yeah.
A putter I went and looked at. I'm like, back when I got my putter like 5 years ago, I'm like, I really want the longer one. They didn't have it, and I'm not an internet guy to buy stuff on the internet. I am now because I have to, because of the Valley. But I went to go buy a putter. I'm like, $449 for a piece of metal.
Yeah.
That is not going to make me shoot a 72.
Yeah, I was going to say
Or
that
an
might
82
be.
You
for
wouldn't
that
slam it
matter.
on the cart
Yeah.
path. You wouldn't have to get a new one.
I don't need a new one. I don't mind that they're beat up.
Yeah.
They need to be taught a lesson
I
once
was
in
going
a
to say
while.
that putter, Ed, it might be more wizard than wand, if you know what I mean.
Yes,
It's,
well.
But stuff is like crazy expensive. I mean,
insane.
that bag of
And in
Folgers
Montana.
coffee that used to be at Costco for under $10 is now over $17 at Costco.
It's went up like $8. Yes.
That's Folgers. And when you think about what matters to people, I mean, we want to say that, people get worked up over this, people get worked up over that. The thing people get mad about is they can't afford anything. They
Right.
can't afford their rent.
they should
can't
be.
buy a house. They can't afford to buy coffee. I mean, come on.
there are
They
people out
blamed
there.
it all on Biden when it happened. Under
Well, they're still
Biden's
blaming it on
administration,
Biden.
But
right.
But there's people out there, that are being interviewed, on a daily basis by podcasters, by national news, by local news and stuff. And, you're talking about price, you're seeing things. And, they're happy with President Trump. And, I'm wondering, what are they so fucking happy about, And then I think about it, it's obviously the immigration thing. Obviously. It was the biggest, most important thing in the last election when America cared more about the immigration thing. And I'll agree with a lot of these people because you've got the Great Britain is dealing with it, Norway's dealing with it, Germany's dealing with it. They're all dealing with it. They're having revolutions right now in these countries because of the crime and because of the things that are happening with all the immigration, the mass immigration they're allowing. And I get it. I get the fear, but there's definitely a right way to do it. And I know for a fact we're not doing it the right way.
Right.
how you govern matters. I've always said
Exactly.
that.
How you govern matters.
I don't. It's okay. It's okay for me to have somebody who doesn't have the same philosophical, political beliefs as me in
Yes.
the White House, in our Congress. But how you go about doing that, all of a sudden has changed, and it's rolled over completely 180 degrees.
So you have no problem with pedophiles then? Put you on the spot there.
I'm not even sure what that means.
Well,
I'm talking about governing.
Yes, well, you're talking
how
about
you
people
do it
governing.
matters.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to treat people with respect. You have to treat
Well-
humans humanely.
We bombed a ship of 11 drug dealers from Nicaragua or somewhere.
That's what
That's
they're claiming.
insane.
We call that an extrajudicial killing.
And Pete Hegseth went nuts about it. He's
sure
like,
he did.
"This is American people we're protecting. 100,000 people died a year under Biden the last 4 years. Like,
Exactly. Well,
the whole fucking world crumbled the last 4 years, and I didn't even fucking see it. How did I miss how bad it was those last 4 years? Oh, I was making a shit ton of fucking money off of tourists in a tourist town that I'm not fucking making right now. So Pete Hegseth is completely right. I mean, these people are fucking morons, and it sucks. It does suck.
He said he hasn't washed his hands after he's gone to the bathroom in years.
Oh, well,
Or he said that on
he's
TV.
he's
Yeah.
real close with RFK.
Yeah, that's his whole thing. It's like, no, we need those germs.
Yeah,
to,
no,
like,
right,
filter
yeah,
these.
immunity.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest. I don't wash my hands a lot, and I never get sick. So maybe there's
Well,
something
I
to
also
it.
don't piss all over my hands.
I don't. Yeah, it's rare. Yeah. I mean,
But you're touching you're touching your down there stuff, and you don't want to go back and sit at the table, and possibly like put your hand on somebody's shoulder or
Oh, really?
something. Until you it's just common courtesy to
Counterpoint.
squeeze that off.
Steve, I'm sure you've probably touched some of my penis skin in
Counterpoint
the past.
Quinnell. Yep.
We don't need to.
But Democrats are
it's just
blowing a
common
lot of
courtesy.
these issues. When you're talking about like the immigration issue, I remember back,
Yes.
when I was
did.
in the
blew
legislature,
it.
I introduced a bill that said that if you as an employer, hire an undocumented worker for the third time, and you get busted for hiring an undocumented for the third time, you lose your business license.
There you go.
And
Easy.
the Democrats came unglued
Oh,
at me
for
for
sure.
introducing that.
I would say probably Republicans would come unglued too, because they own a lot of these big corporations that illegal immigrants are completely. I mean, Donald Trump has had thousands of illegal immigrants work for him. Has it right now. I mean, he absolutely has illegal immigrants working at some of his golf courses. There's no way to avoid that. You know what I mean? I'm sure they don't have ICE at Mar-a-Lago or any of the resorts waiting outside. ICE is busy going into the wildfire zones of Washington State and arresting.
Yeah.
They arrested 2 fucking wildland firefighters.
I was
saw
trying.
that
I was
video,
trying to
yeah.
figure out if that was
That's
faked
insane.
or not.
No, it was real. I mean, it was real.
It was so out there that it was like something that was so hard to believe that I was like, maybe this isn't true. And I
Yeah.
didn't have time to go in and fact check it. But if that's actually happening, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah,
Really? I mean,
I don't know.
Why do we have the National Guard in that? There's such a crisis in Washington D.C. that we have to have the National Guard come in to police, and there's nobody to police. So
$1
they're
million
picking up
a day.
trash.
$1 million a day.
They're picking up trash in the national
Yeah.
around our national parks in Washington D.C. Even though we laid off 1,000 workers in Washington D.C., 1,000 national park workers there. So what I'm asking is, who is it cheaper to pay to do that?
Well, okay, yeah, all right. I'm going to
Talking
say
about
that.
government efficiency, about saving money. It's definitely more expensive to hire a soldier to pick up trash than it is to hire a national park worker to pick up
But
trash.
like hashtag MAGA dumb people, they don't give a fuck. They love seeing it. They do, and that's fine. They're his supporters. But you look at it; they're spending $1 million a day in D.C. alone. Okay,
Community policing.
community policing. They're picking up garbage. They can't arrest anybody. They're not arresting anybody. They can't. Legally, they can't. At least Trump hasn't done some executive order that allows military, because I want some 17-year-old kid that joined the fucking Marines because he beat the fuck out of somebody almost to their death and chose that over jail. Because a lot of these fucking people in the service, they take the service over jail too. It's like you don't have 100% awesome people all the time in any facet of life,
A song?
But
but
if you
there's
put
a
$1 million in, what if you put $1 million into DC's a day into DC's payroll for their own fucking police? Because are you going to go risk your life for $45,000, $50,000 a year? No, nobody is. So, and how much money? I mean, you think about it. $1 million a day. How many cops can they have? And I'll look it up and find out how many and do the math and figure out at $1 million a day how much you could actually pay these cops to actually go. Because a lot of these guys, it's dangerous. They're not going in, not for that kind of money. They're not going to solve any. It's not going to happen. It's almost like it's supposed to be this way. So the prison industry complex makes a lot of money. So the courts stay busy. So the lawyers make their money. I mean, a lot of it is very obvious that is a big part of it. Capitalism allows for more criminals.
$66,000 a year, DC starting salary.
$66,000 a year.
Yep.
I mean,
The
that's
thing
good
about
money.
having
good
the
money.
National Guard there is that
I don't think you'd buy. I don't know if you could buy a house on that in D.C. on that
No,
salary.
I'm just looking at it from the farmer's
Hell
perspective.
no.
You know, I
Well,
make my
yeah.
living in $3 bunches, so
Yeah.
66 looks pretty good.
let's
But $1
just
million a
talk,
day
let's
would
just talk
raise
about
that
the
a lot.
Well, let's talk about the National Guard for a minute, because to me, the National Guard are the hardest working people in our military service, because they're the ones who have regular jobs, and they get called out of those
Yeah.
regular jobs to come and do something.
And
like
one weekend a
this.
month, don't they go to the thing for one weekend a month?
One weekend
Some
a month,
training,
6
yeah.
weeks in the summer. One of the guys I work with, his son joined the National Guard before his senior year because he was already 18. And the kid is owned by the military in the summertime.
Yeah.
Uh,
And he has to go.
and he has no choice.
court-martialed.
He couldn't go to
He will
his
be
he couldn't
arrested.
go to his sister's own wedding because it was during his time he had to be there for his 6 weeks.
Well, that's about being a grown
And
up.
these are the people that were pulling away from school, away from
Yeah.
their jobs to go and pick up trash in Washington D.C. and potentially now to go to Chicago and Baltimore to police a city that is not in crisis. It's absolutely
Chicago's
it's
a
absolute
21st.
insanity.
It ranks 21st in like violent crime.
Right.
I thought they were like top 5. I did without any of this stuff going on.
No.
Not thinking about it. I'm like,
Maybe
it's pretty
certain
I mean,
neighborhoods
Cabrini
are,
Green
but-
and shit like that is
Yeah.
pretty
Well,
gnarly down there.
Caprini's gone now.
It is gone. You're right. You're right.
Well,
but
these cities should be doing more community policing themselves.
Without a doubt.
We got to get
But do
the
they have-
cops back on the streets.
They
And
have
I know
been in
you guys
Chicago.
talked about this earlier when
Yep.
Dial was here. But look, people like to see police out there. They want to know who's working in their community.
They got to be
think
out
they
there
do.
walking the beat. They got to walk the beat. It's just like politics.
Yep.
You want to win. You want to win your community. You got to walk the beat. You got to.
Well,
be out
that
there doing
narrative
it.
has changed over the last 20, 30 years, though. I mean, it's more about military-style policing everywhere in America. I mean, I'm sorry. It just is. You don't have that cop on the street hanging out, meeting his community or talking to him. I mean, Whitefish, we're a little different. You know, we've got a lot of really good cops. I mean, I think your small towns may be that way, but overall, generally, and especially since like once I graduated college or high school, and moved to Colorado and stuff, I mean, these police were all militants. I mean, they were all had fucking army haircuts. And I lived in Grand County, which was a place where they were training. They provided training for cops. So cops from all over the place would go to Grand County, where there's only like 3,700 residents or 2,700 at the time, and you got 70 cops running around there. You know, like because they're training and they're fucking. I mean, they're just buff. They got the short hair. They're like, it was intimidating, very intimidating, and you do see the cops have become very intimidating, and those people don't want it. They don't like. If you're that intimidating looking, I don't think, you know, you got arm tattoos, neck tattoos. I mean, cops look like they're fucking UFC fighters, you know, a lot of them, you know.
Look at Ryan.
Yeah,
He's
like
got
Ryan.
tats.
I give you a great vegan cupcake recipe.
You know, a guy comes up to you and starts like, hey, Johnny, how's school going? He's like, and he runs away because his cop looks like a fucking gangster, you know what I mean? And he looks intimidating, and they're supposed to be intimidating. They're supposed to install fear into us, so we obey.
No, that is not what the cops are supposed to do. God damn it. Absolutely
But that's what
fucking
they
not.
do. But that's exactly what they do. They're very intimidating. They really are, Steve. I'm not saying that it's the way it's supposed to be. I'm saying that's exactly how it is.
We're not making it a profession that people want to get into.
Of course. And we've changed the training methods through police academies over the years. You know, police academy, police didn't have riot gear. You know, police in little towns and most places didn't have this riot gear. They didn't all have, you know, everything that they have now. It has changed a lot. And it's just I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, you look at, like, we talked to Bill about, you know, or I've talked to him about police academy, and he used to be an instructor, and he trained people and stuff, and it's definitely changed. You know, you treat everybody like they're an insane threat to your life. I mean, and it just didn't used to be that way. And now everybody living in this fear, it's going to make your cops more that way.
Well, you treat everyone like they're a threat to your life unless you work for the Uvalde Police Department.
Okay, right. Yeah.
Then you stand in the hallway and you look at your phone while
till
children
the gunshots
are murdered.
done. Yeah, just wait. Like, is it clear? Do you think it's clear?
man.
No, you're right.
It's
You're
almost
right.
as if it's a path of least resistance, and the police just pick on people who can't stand up for themselves, like the poor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Is that sarcasm?
So
anyway, let's switch it.
All right.
Let's switch the topic.
You guys want to watch that video? The one. What's the name of it?
Oh.
The school shooting one. Sandy Hook.
I don't know if I want to watch that again. Once was enough, maybe. We could watch it though, but the Sandy Hook Promise video was.
That was amazing.
It's pretty sad.
Yeah.
I mean,
Can our viewers watch it if we play?
Would this make you?
Maybe. Keep talking.
Okay.
we're going to shift to RFK, right? That was
That's
supposed to
coming
be
up.
about.
But real quick, let's talk about.
See? My mom's got me the perfect bag for back
Stay
to
in
school.
Montana for a minute.
These colorful binders help me stay organized.
These headphones are just what I need
Is that
for
on?
studying.
Is that going on the thing right now? You might get in trouble for
These new
advertising for
sneakers are just
somebody.
what I need for the new year.
This jacket is a real must-have.
But this is a video that I don't know if
It's pretty cool.
you've seen it or not.
These scissors really come in handy in art class. These colored pencils, too.
These new socks, they can be a real lifesaver.
This is so sad.
It's bad.
It's sad.
It's brutal.
Well,
I mean, these kids have been going through this for a decade now.
That kid shouldn't have a phone.
but only in America. We're number one, as we should be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing. I mean, it is that, you know, remember a couple years ago when some idiot, like, it wasn't Marjorie Taylor Greene, maybe it was it was one of these idiots out there being like, their kids are identifying as cats now. There's litter boxes in classrooms.
That's
it's
true.
because of fucking active shooters, you fucking idiot.
I've seen them in Steve's classroom. There are litter boxes.
Well, Steve's trying to attract cats for different reasons.
But I remember
He's a Chinese
when I was
cook.
in grade school, I mean, the drill we had to do was we had to climb under our desks
Yes,
instead of rush or drop the nuclear
That's
bomb
exactly
on
what we had to do, too.
You
Yeah.
know,
Like,
it's
that's going to
like
save you.
I know. This metal desk is going to save me against, okay, I don't know what
I'm
we're
sure
doing here.
Everybody into the lead room.
I'm sure I've said this before on the show, but stuff like that, I'm completely numb to ads like that because
Yeah.
I am of the camp that when Sandy Hook happened and 22 children were slaughtered and we did nothing as a nation, that
Nothing.
just ended the conversation and we're never going to do anything. So there's no point in getting worked up about it. I just kind of have to push those feelings down.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to me that we live in the richest country in the history of the world, and the plan for school shootings seems to be just really hope it doesn't happen to
I'm
your
the
kid's
teachers.
school.
No, there's a plan.
I'm the
It's
teachers.
Run, lock, fight. That's the
Right.
plan.
Yeah, run, hide,
If you
fight.
can run away. We do it every year. I got to tell all my kids, here's the weapon,
sad.
here's what you do if there's an active shooter. Here's what we do in this classroom. If you're in my other classroom, here's what you do. But you run away if you can. If you're like out in the halls and you can get out a door, run as fast and far away as you can.
God damn.
If you can't, get into the nearest classroom and lock yourself in. And if somebody gets in your room, you fight like hell because that's your last resort. So
I guess you arm the teachers because the cops aren't going to do shit.
No, not in a lot of cases.
not in Montana. I don't think so.
You can't get a police officer that's fully trained to have to operate a gun, and then you expect some random teacher to do it.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way.
And you
That's
go,
the crazy
I
part to me because I'd say 80% of my teachers I've had growing up, I don't want them having a gun. No fucking way. They're going to shoot a kid or themselves or something.
Or you
know?
say, well, that's a lot of responsibility to put on a teacher, so I guess we're talking about tripling or quadrupling their pay. And
Yes.
oh, no, no, we won't be doing that.
I mean,
No, in fact, we're going to raise their union
like
dues
I've
now.
always said, the day that they say that you're allowed to have weapons and that teachers are allowed to have weapons is my last day of work as a teacher. I will never work in a school where teachers are armed. It's just not education anymore.
Well, I think a lot of schools now have resource officers, I'm assuming.
We do,
That's
yeah.
a big deal now.
They all
right?
do.
And that's got to help.
in
That's
Flathead
got to
County, we
be
all
a big
do.
deal.
I mean,
I
was
think
it-
a kid would be less likely to bring a backpack with guns in it if there's a resource
wasn't
officer.
it, correct me if I'm wrong here, Steve, wasn't it Stoneman Douglas, the one down in Florida with the David Hogg one? They had an SRO, and he got charged because when the shots started firing, he cut and ran. He
That's right.
ran out.
That
He
was
just took off.
That was that one. Yep, that's right. I remember that
eh,
happening.
I keep waiting for the good guy with a gun to show up.
Right. Well, that's. Oh, that did happen somewhere the other day, actually.
But the
Once
resource
for once.
officer, like in the Whitefish School, went over well. I mean, I remember
Yeah.
when Dial and those guys, they took Ron Ridenour's Subaru. Remember
Yep,
when he got
he
busted?
busted
They
for
took a
growing weed.
Subaru and they turned it into this rig for the high school.
I
The
remember
resource
that.
officer used to drive in. Those kids love seeing that Subaru.
Yeah, it's having a resource officer in school is a good thing. It's community policing. People see the person that is, they see the police there every day, and it's an opportunity to put a face and a human form into a police officer, and that's what we need. I mean, that's what we need that's what we need all over the place.
It would be nice
with
instead of your cops being these intimidated neck tattoo monsters. Yes, being normal and
in
good
Kalispell,
people.
they're required to change every 3 years. You only get 3 years as a resource officer, and then another person comes in and does it, so that it's not just the same person all the time. So that
Right.
there's a rotation of people, and that helps because it helps communication. If anything happens, there's communication directly to the police department from the officer. The officer's there with a weapon in case something bad happens. Nothing is perfect. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when now. But if that's all you think about, it's like when you're flying in a plane.
Yeah.
Plane could crash at any time. Bad shit could happen. Hopefully it doesn't happen on your flight. But it could, and when it does, you better be prepared.
Yeah.
Give
Well,
the kids guns. Fuck it.
give the kids guns and drugs. Why not? I mean, all right. So the hearing today.
Which one?
RFK.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. So he fired the 17-member advisory panel of the CDC.
Yep.
These are all extremely talented professional people.
He views them as too woke.
And I'm not trying to be, this super liberal douchebag guy that the fucking MAGA-tards hate. But the truth is, you just don't do this shit. And he got reamed today by Republicans and Democrats alike. I mean, he did. I mean, to go ahead and eliminate all these 17 professionals and then fire over 600 people in 30 days, all from the CDC. This is something that the whole world depends on. It does. Whether, MAGA wants to believe it or not, this is a very important function of the worldwide society. I mean, and these are some of the best people in the world. And here we don't want them.
So
Trump had
what's the beef? Is it vaccines? Is that the beef?
That's a big part of it. And today, when
I think the bigger part, honestly, is that he thinks that everybody that every doctor in the country, every healthcare professional in the country has been co-opted by big pharma to say what big pharma wants in order for big pharma to sell their pills and their drugs and their vaccines.
And there's truth to that.
And but
measles there's an outbreak. It's happening right now because people aren't doing it. Florida just said today, kids don't need to be vaccinated anymore to attend school.
Yesterday, actually, yeah.
Or yesterday. This is incredibly fucking selfish. This is where the idiots gotta fucking be.
So this is the mumps, measles, rubella.
Yep, all of it.
You don't have to have any
vaccine
vaccines to
at
go
all.
to school.
So now you're going to risk all the responsible people's lives because of your fucking retard governor. Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ, this is bad, But this whole thing today, this hearing was amazing. I mean, Steve Daines did some great work. He really did.
Did he?
No,
I'm sure he did.
Yeah. No, but some Democrats did.
RFK's boots were fucking spit shined once Steve got done with it.
But he kept saying, he kept getting asked. So you've said the mRNA vaccine is killing people, and it doesn't work. And this thing goes, I haven't seen the data. What the fuck, dude? Stop sounding like a MAGA idiot and talking about data. And you need to see the data. And I do my research. All these fucking stupid talking points. Data and I do my research. Shut up. You're in a real fucking world right now. And you've got a huge population approaching like 7 billion people. And you're just going to fuck it all.
Yeah, I think I was talking to someone, I think it was Steve or someone was saying that you've got, to play devil's advocate here, you've got RFK on one side who says we should not have childhood vaccines, and then you've got
millions of scientists,
the American Society of Pediatricians that says no,
yep, AMA.
That would be a horrible idea. We need to have vaccines. But I mean, who are you going to listen to? The doctors who went to college for 12 years, or the guy whose own throat is trying to stop him from speaking?
Yes. Yeah. That's the guy with the worm that ate his brain.
One of the comedians has that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think that's you sent me that.
Yeah. I don't doubt any of that stuff that the pharmaceutical industry is pushing stuff.
Don't doubt it at all.
Of course they're not.
Again.
If you've watched TV, you can't get away from it.
No, right. I don't doubt that at all. I remember, again, when I was in the legislature, one of the bills that I had to do with mercury amalgam fillings that people have in their mouth.
Right. Yep.
It's fine when it's in your mouth. There's no problem when it's in your mouth. As soon as you take it out of your mouth, they drill it out of your mouth, it goes into the city's water supply. It's a problem.
Yeah.
And so now the dentists have to have these traps. They have to trap this mercury that's coming out of your mouth. It was no problem in your mouth, but as soon as it's in the sink, it's a problem. And so, somebody's skewing the science a little bit on some of that stuff.
On a lot of if there's a buck to be made, it's going to get skewed. It is. I mean, it's amazing. I think RFK, there's a lot of things he's right on. There's things that we don't need to be
pharmaceutical.
There's a reason other countries don't allow a lot of food we eat in America is not allowed worldwide.
They're not. Yeah. Pharmaceutical companies are not allowed to advertise in most countries.
Us and New Zealand.
That changed in the 90s.
And
that's a big problem.
He wants to change that.
Because now
he won't. He can't.
If you think you're sick, you've got 10 ideas of what's wrong with you when you go in to see your doctor, and you're going to say, well, how about this pill?
Yeah. Yep.
And the doctor, they'll be like, oh, yeah, okay. I grew up, my dad was a pharmaceutical salesman, and then he was a regional manager.
He sold weed on the corner.
For Merck and Company. And one of the big things that, that he really appreciated about working for Merck is that when they were allowed to all of a sudden advertise, my dad said, well, I'll work for Merck as long as they don't advertise. And it took them about 5 years before they started advertising.
Wow.
Because they said, we understand the health implications for people in this country if pharmaceutical companies are allowed to advertise. We can't do it. It's not fair because people don't understand they don't understand their own health. Their doctors need to be the ones who understand that stuff.
Well, we're getting sicker and sicker all the time.
And now we have a guy at the head.
We're not.
We have a guy at the head of Health and Human Services who's a lawyer.
Yeah.
Who's a lawyer, has no medical background whatsoever. None. His whole entire biography, Not one day has he ever spent doing anything.
And nobody he's hiring has any background in any of this. But that's kind of the MAGA thing. The MAGA thing's like, hey, we don't need professionals. We need real people.
Well, yeah, he is a real person. He was a heroin addict for 10 years. Did you know that?
I want him to give me surgery.
Yeah, the heroin addict would like to lecture you about your health.
Yeah.
From the time he was 15 to 25, he was a heroin addict.
Off.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I am so less likely to give RFK the benefit of the doubt. Like, I used to be kind of on his side. Like, when he was on Rogan, I was like, okay,
you know what?
this guy's got some good points.
There were
but
some
now
times.
he can fuck all the way
He
off.
can fuck all the way off.
All the
without
way
a
off.
doubt.
And he's got this quote up here where he says, we need to stop trusting the experts. Trusting the experts is not a feature of science or democracy. It is a feature of religion and totalitarianism. You know, these guys
Words
like,
of a true genius.
these guys like RFK are going to, as soon as they get cancer or a brain tumor, they are going to be the first people that have the best surgeons and the best
they can
doctors
say what they
and the
want.
absolute best medical care. Meanwhile, they're pitching this to the masses saying, you know, shun your doctors, you know, stay away from, you know, care that works. These are sick, awful fucking people. I am so sick of, you know, fix your fucking voice, you loser. I am so sick of this. It's like, you know what Jimmy Hoffa said about your dad when JFK died, RFK? He said, Bobby Kennedy, just another lawyer. And also, RFK, why are you so fucking red?
I don't know. He looks really fucked up.
I'm so sick of looking
eyes
at
are
Dye
very-
number 40. That's why he's pissed at red dye number 40.
Get this
like-
lobster
it's like
off
the-
my screen.
He
I am
drinks
so
some
sick
kind
of
of. He
this
drinks
fucking
some.
guy.
Supposedly, they've seen him drinking some kind of blue.
He drinks his own urine, I'm sure.
Blue
It's one of those.
some blue something that's got.
He looks all fucked up, though. Did
he
you see him
looks-
in that testimony?
He
Like,
looks and sounds awful.
He looks like an Oompa Loompa, to be honest with you. He
okay.
really does.
Yep, he's in
He's
that.
a little bit
yes.
taller, but
Yeah.
And there's
Probably stronger.
There's another quote here where he says, I'm looking at kids as I walk through the airports
oh, God,
today.
this is the dumbest one.
And I see these kids are just overburdened with mitochondrial challenges, inflammation. You can just tell from their faces, movements, and lack of social connection. Again, this is not a doctor. This is not
he's
a
a
guy
lawyer.
who took any science classes. So, you know,
Well, he's very
dictating-
wealthy, so his words matter.
You know, dictating our national health policy based
At the airport.
Yeah.
At the airport.
Well, yeah.
based on what he sees in people.
Right, dictating our national health policy based upon the observations of a lunatic in the airport. Boy, what could go wrong with that?
Yeah, I don't know.
We deserve everything that's coming.
Maybe kids are just like, who's
Yeah.
the Oompa Loompa? I would stay
Yeah.
away from that guy.
Meanwhile, we cut $1 billion from pediatric cancer research so we can paint the border wall black.
Well, that's why Russell Cleveland, that's a big reason he's running for office.
It's like,
and
I don't know,
hope that lights people up.
climb the bitch at night. It won't be hot.
Right.
There you go.
That's the part I don't get. They climb at night anyway.
Right. There
They
you go.
never climb during the day because people are watching it.
That's what they said. They said, we'll paint
It's
it black.
fucking stupid.
We'll paint it black so it'll be hot. And they
But
can't climb
Magadum
it.
says, yeah.
I don't know.
they'll
Sun
go-
goes down, climb it at night.
They're
There
going
we
to go cook their chorizo on it in the day, and
Yeah,
then they'll go
that's
back
what
into their
she said.
hiding holes, and then they'll climb over
Sorry,
at
yeah,
night.
RFK gets me fired up.
Well, he is probably the worst person that has ever been the head of any agency.
That's saying a lot.
And that is saying a lot. It really is.
Saying a lot.
He is the most unqualified person. Like, we now have at the head of Health and Human Services, it's the same as putting a climate denier at the head of climate change research. I mean, it is this. We're talking about the same
that's
thing.
what we got.
He doesn't believe in any of the science.
No.
And there's a difference between science and indoctrination, right? Like the difference, the end of the Dark Ages. What was the end of the Dark Ages about? It was about throwing out indoctrinated beliefs that came mostly from the church, because science was able to say, hey, we can look at all of these different observations over time and prove something is true, at least as far as we can say it is.
Yeah, because
Copernicus and Galileo, we could compare him to Copernicus and Galileo, saying, well, he's so far out there that we should excommunicate him now because he's so wrong.
Yes.
The problem is he's on the other side of science. He's on the other side of what we know to be true for the last 500 years in the world.
Very anti-science.
He is, and
Very anti-science.
why is the whole country going that way? I just don't understand.
Historically, we were used to this kind of stuff. I mean, we've discovered the cure for scurvy because the ships wrecked off the coast of Africa and they started eating fruits and vegetables and they cured themselves. They went back to England and said, hey, look, we ate this vegetables and our scurvy went away. And the English government said, no, that's not it. Drink more grog. That's going to cure you. And for 100 years, we forgot what the cure for scurvy was.
Scurvy, what's all this
100 bloody years.
What's all this then?
Oh, wow.
I did not know that story, Mike. Thanks for bringing that up. Let's look into that one. That's a good story to tell to my students, too. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, well, and through history, people trust some people.
What the hell is scurvy anyway?
Trust a lot of people. You know what I mean?
Fake
Like
British disease.
yeah, it's something you eat with potatoes. I think mashers.
The anti-vaxxers got rid of it, didn't they? The anti-vaxxers are the
But there's
ones.
always going to be skeptics and shit, and I think that's what makes things better, of course. But now you got like they're taking skepticism to the next level. A lot of these people in Trump administration are. It's just like, okay. I mean, except for the Epstein stuff. You know, now it's like, that's a hoax. Can you believe, real quick, that while these women were testifying, Trump is in the White House calling this a fucking hoax, a Democratic hoax.
Yes, I can totally believe it. I can totally believe it. This is the president who said you can grab women by their pussy.
So,
and he got elected.
By firing all these people. 3 times. So RFK has all this power. He got grilled today by a lot of the people in the Senate. A lot of people just grilled him, Republicans and Democrats alike. None of them seem to like what's really going on. You know, the White House came with a statement. They fully support him 100%. They loved his commitment to fighting for the truth or whatever the fuck they said. It's like, what in the world?
Well, all those Republicans that were screaming at him, they got their jollies off. They got their 5 seconds of TV, and they're not doing nothing.
And they're not doing anything. He's still got his job. He can still fire all these people. Like, I thought about this. Think about worst case scenario to me right now for America. Okay, these tariffs, all this stuff, losing all our friends, worldwide pandemic outbreak, World War III. We get kicked out of the UN. We have no allies. We are fucked. Because of these fucking idiots running things, we could be fucked. And, I'm all about, free and fair elections for sure. This is what we got. I'm not, it sucks. But think of the ramifications of now electing some fucking retard like this again. Well, really, I hope America wakes up and goes, wow, you know what I mean? You got this fucking huge pedophile ring that no party's really done anything about. You've had 4 different presidents that could have done something about this. Of course, nobody chooses. Everyone wants to protect their donors and all this. But you think about this guy slapping in the face of Canada, slapping in the face of all these other countries, calling people weak and losers all the time. Threatening to leave the UN. I mean, you think about with Xi Jinping, or what was the China guy?
Xi Jinping.
Xi Jinping. Ping pong, ping pong, ping ding dong.
President Xi.
President Xi, Putin,
they were all holding hands, weren't they?
They're holding hands.
They were, yeah.
I mean,
Kim Jong-un was there too, or Il,
Kim Jong-un,
whichever one.
yeah.
Which one is it? The Il or the Un?
Un. Il's dead. It's
Il's
Un, right?
dead?
Yeah.
Okay.
Un's the child.
Okay. Il died. Okay, we can remember that.
But
Il
I'm just saying, it's really weird, isn't it? Like it's blowing my mind that I'm watching these RFK hearings today, being like, this is America.
It's what we deserve.
It's what we deserve.
Well, we also forget our history. I mean, it wasn't that long ago, 2 lifetimes ago, we were turning the military on workers all over the United States.
You're right.
I mean,
we were turning the military on activists.
We were. We just living in the best of times. We've forgotten our history. We've come from turbulent times.
Don't make me sing the song again.
Was it?
Oh, man, in Ohio.
Was it? Well, let's go back to the Union era. Who was the president back then? Was it Garfield or was it
first organized?
Or was it Teddy Roosevelt who called out the National Guard to put down the steelworkers strike? I mean, they killed people. They shot people.
Yes.
They killed people during those strikes.
Yeah, they didn't fuck around at all.
That was also calling the military out on people, but that was still different. I mean, I guess.
Well, it was different because
if the railroads aren't running, that's a little more of a national crisis than Chicago's crime rate has dropped 30% in the last 5 years.
And it wasn't just. I mean, it was the textile mills of New Hampshire. I mean, I mean, there was like lots of unions all over, and when the union strikes, the military always turned out.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You're right. Because why stop the machine, the American machine? That gets in the way. Yeah. It gets in the way of us being the most powerful country in the world, and people don't take that lightly. Especially
and I will say, there's the difference now is, or one of, and hopefully it's going to swing back around. But what's happening right now is that the checks and balances aren't coming through right now.
Right.
I mean, there's the courts are blocking things, and then the process takes a long time. That's democracy, though. That's the way democracy is supposed to work.
Unless you have your hand-picked Supreme Court like Trump does.
Well, and maybe
he gets shit a little quicker.
I mean, but ideally, those people are independent enough that things that are clearly violations of the Constitution.
It's gone, Steve. That is gone. It's not. There's not enough. Nobody's independent. Like
an Easter Bunny too, kid. I mean, that's.
See,
did you just call me kid?
Yeah.
He's forever the optimist. Democrats are always the optimists. I mean,
could you imagine Fox News in the time of like the 1800s? It would be like, maybe Mr. Lincoln should be reminded about where the cotton for all his nice suits comes from. Oh, it'd be a nightmare.
Maybe, huh? Ew, God.
You said the union. I thought, that's what I was like, oh, Steve's going to take a run at the blue coats. Yeah.
Well, there's something to be said about, unions and what's happened, and where they're, they've always aligned with Democrats. Not always, but in the last, 3, 4 decades, 5 decades maybe. I mean, really have. And then you get the guy from the Teamsters, huge union, Donald Trump. Yeah.
Well,
that blew my fucking mind.
Those are the things that have. That's where that weird flip flop has happened. Is that the workers, the people who are at the bottom, the general. The average person, the average Joe,
that isn't getting their job stolen by a Mexican,
the common person working for a wage, but having a good wage because you're part of a union, now it believes that Donald Trump is the one who's going to save them. They vote against their own interests, and that's the Republican genius since the late 1960s is turning people against themselves.
I think it's easy to always, because you're always going to have that percentage of people that just aren't real motivated to make a lot of money and don't really care. And, want things cheap in the stores, and then things get expensive. Yeah. Like, right now, with things as high as they've ever been, maybe people will start, it might start changing.
They might start looking for an alternative.
Ideology
that's
is
where
not
the hard work
important,
comes in.
Because ideology seems to be running everything these days. And it's kind of...
Well, most people aren't in the union. I mean, most workers are not in the union.
And Fox News tells them it's a bad thing, so they hate unions.
Yeah, one of the things that has happened in the union world, and it's endemic in the Democratic Party itself, is you have the environmentalists who are cutting union jobs because they're trying to protect the environment.
Right.
And we've lost track that you can have good jobs and a good environment at the same time.
Yes.
And there's a lot of union guys that are mad at Democrats because they're losing their jobs.
Right. Well, and a lot of it's because of them. Like, I've always wondered why a lot more, in the timber industry, especially here, Idaho and stuff. Well, like, I don't even think you can have a union. I don't know if that's changed or not. I'm sure you can, but they've never really been in organized labor or cared about having organized labor, and it's always helped the big timber giants. And you look at timber, and through the years, you have big corporations fronting as environmentalist groups just to close down smaller mills so they can buy it up. It's fucking obvious. It's been happening forever. Big corporations do this. But rednecks get all riled up. They blame the fucking hippie environmentalists.
On farms, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and they blame the environmentalists, they blame this, and they blame all that, and they don't really know the whole picture of what's going on. Right now, you get a situation where we're putting all the tariffs on Canada. We're putting tariffs on drywall from Mexico, timber from Canada, and our biggest problem with the economy and everything in America is housing. And here we're making it more expensive.
Oh, yeah. It's making it more
Holy
expensive.
And people are still supporting these policies.
Yeah. No, it's nutty. I mean, we have to give credit to the unions. They did away with the 80-hour work week.
Oh,
You
there's a
know,
lot of things.
Child
Look
labor.
at what was going on in the textile mills in New Hampshire again. No windows in those buildings whatsoever. The fire ladders only reached 7 stories. Those were 12-story buildings.
You're fucked.
You know, tons of people died in those buildings, and unions were the ones that tried to fix that.
Well, my mom would have to be
White
working
lung
right now
disease, black
at
lung
73 years old. My mom would have to have a job right now if it wasn't for my dad being in the union for 35 years.
Yeah.
She would have to have a job because there's no fucking way she can live on Social Security no matter where you go in the country. I mean, there's just no way. And I think about these people. I think about a guy my dad got in an argument with years ago. He was in the timber industry. Never made more than, I think, $18 an hour. And they got in a fight about right to work. And my dad just is like, you know, you are a fucking moron. You really are against organized labor. You're against union. You have no pension. You have no health insurance. And you've been breaking your fucking back for 30 years for this company. Wow. Yeah. Like
cut Medicaid too, Medicare.
yeah, fuck it, you know. And I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, and that's healthcare's another thing. You know, my family's never needed Medicaid, Medicare, because the union's always taken care of us. I mean, you have the option, you know, as your kid gets out of high school, you can still be on this policy in a lot of these unions that offer. You know, just pay a little more, pay on your premium, but you still can. Still much more affordable than, you know, going and getting it on your own. I mean, Vader, oh my God.
Can I read a quick
If you
letter
can read,
that
you
my
sure
daughter got? My daughter had
Oh,
to go,
yes, I wanted to read that. That you put, yes.
my daughter had to go to the emergency room down in Missoula, and so I got a thing from Providence Hospital, and I thought, oh, here's your bill. We'll find out how much it was.
Oh, boy.
And here's what we get from Providence Hospital. This is what Providence says. Dear Miss Quinnell, if you need, thank you for choosing Providence for your care. You may need help with your medical bills. Providence may be able to help with that. Financial counseling is central to how we support our patients who may need assistance in managing healthcare costs. Our financial assistance program is designed to make care received at one of our emergency departments more affordable for qualified patients. Our financial assistance program includes blah, blah, blah. Guidance in applying, free low-cost health care, generous interest-free long-term payment plan options.
Oh.
This is what happens when you're 19 years old and you go to the emergency room in Montana, is that you get a letter that says, you're going to get a big bill coming. We want to prepare you for that by giving you some options to pay it off over time.
It's like counseling beforehand.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
There's a similar letter comes that you have to sign when you take a student loan to go to college, because I've also been through that with both of my daughters. Yep. But this is a medical bill. This is a kid who is going to school, trying to live on her own, and working all at the same time. And she has to go to the emergency room because of an incident that happened to her. And this is what now she has to add this stress of, okay, now I got to go see the hospital for my payments because I went to the emergency
And
room.
this is something I'm assuming wasn't her fault even.
It wasn't her fault, no.
I mean, there is something wrong with a country that doesn't take care of its own.
That is
bad.
The essence of what is wrong with our healthcare system is that you go to the hospital and you get a letter about before you get your bill, you get a letter about about meeting with a financial advisor about how to pay it off.
She should respond
brutal.
and say, I'm in receipt of your correspondence. Let me discuss this matter with my legal counsel, Mr. Luigi Mangione, and I will get back to you in due course. Hey, we're going to zero out that bill. Let's not do anything crazy here, okay?
Don't worry about
I got kids, all right?
Oh my God! Oh my God!
It's just, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that just, you want to, these are the kinds of things that really make my blood boil. Is like, okay,
that wouldn't happen in Canada or pretty much any other developed country in the world.
No other first world country would you get a financial assistance counseling letter before you even get your bill. Before you even get the bill that you're going to have to, you don't even know how much you have to pay.
Brutal.
So she had a couple X-rays and she was there. She was in the emergency room for like 5 or 6 hours. While they waited for her X-rays to come back. I know.
A gentleman's $35,000.
Probably. I mean, it's crazy. She saw 2 or 3 different doctors, and you get, as you know, when you go to if you go to the hospital now,
it's money.
Yeah, well, you get a bill for the hospital. You get a bill for all the things that you used in the hospital.
You get resort fees.
You get a bill from the nurses.
The resort fees
you
are the
do.
worst
You
that
do.
they
Yeah, it's like
They're
resort
pretty much
fees.
resort fees.
You get a bill from the doctor, even if he only saw you 20 minutes. You get a separate bill from him. If you had an X-ray, you get a bill for the X-ray. You get a bill from the X-ray technologist. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
And your appointment is at 1:20 and it's now 2:30 and you
It's
haven't seen
easier to
anybody.
go to the cafeteria and order off the a la carte menu in the hospital than it is to actually be in the fucking hospital.
Yeah.
It's
No,
so
it's-
fucking stupid.
It's stupid. Well, and hopefully this leads to some change. Like we were talking to Helena before, and there's people out there that like hopefully people start paying attention, and Democrats start paying attention to these problems, running on these issues. Like that's an issue to
Maybe
run
we just
on.
need to say it nicer. That way people pay
Oh,
attention. If you
stop it.
criticize,
Goddamn it, Mike.
people get mad.
God, you sound like a
Say
fucking-
it really,
you sound like
really
a Democrat.
nice.
Can't sound like a Kevin, what just happened to that screen? Anyway, I was talking about this guy before in Maine, Mike, and you weren't familiar, and it's Graham Plattner.
Yeah,
He's
Graham
running
Plattner.
against Susan Collins.
Yep.
And we're talking about, like Steve's talking about.
She must be really
all these
concerned.
problems. Well, we'll see. Yeah, he's an oyster farmer and a Marine.
Oyster.
Oyster
Yeah.
farmer.
And it's
But-
like, it's not great. He used to work for BlackRock Financial, but I still like him. He seems like he's got a good head on his
I
shoulders.
mean, maybe not having an insider wouldn't be a bad idea for
Yeah.
the Democrats because I don't think
An
there's a lot of them
oyster
probably in there.
farmer who worked for BlackRock.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I don't get.
Yeah, that's like his big knock. Is people
Well,
are saying that
make
he's,
your money,
he's
quit
got
early.
connections to BlackRock Financial, and it's like, all right, well, Susan Collins, like that story up there, she took $2 million
Right.
in campaign donations
And to pass that bill.
before she voted for the
Before
Trump
she
tax
voted for
bill.
the
And
bill,
it's
yeah.
like, this is your country on Citizens United. Why wouldn't it be
Right.
this way? When any politician can be bought, why
Yes.
wouldn't any vote be an auction? Why would it not be this
Yeah.
way?
Well, and
This is the way the river flows.
hopefully candidates and the Democrats pay attention to this stuff. But unfortunately, the voters probably aren't. We
No.
always talk about ill-informed voters, underinformed voters, and
Yeah.
dumb voters, whatever you want to say. These are big deals. All this stuff's big, and
Where's Joe Rogan?
well,
I have to
Who
listen to him
knows?
crow for years, talk about how well Nancy Pelosi's stock trades are doing, and it's so unfair that they get to make all this money. Yet something like this happens where she gets a check for $2 million before she votes for this bill, and they're silent. I can tell you why, because he's state media and a complete fraud and joke.
And she was the only fucking Republican that might have not voted for it.
She might
was
be
the-
going down.
And hopefully, hopefully she does. I mean, she's one of these moderate Republicans that Democrats
Very
support.
concerned.
Yeah, very concerned.
Right.
But this is what we're talking about. There's a problem. It's on a national level too. It's not just Montana.
Maine is a lot like Montana, except it doesn't.
It's way more
been-
liberal.
It's been fighting the.
I don't know
Well,
how she wins.
I don't know about that.
I mean,
It's
it's
got
But the rural areas
it's got the
aren't.
rural vibe. It's got
Yeah.
all the conservative.
Get all those Yankees.
All the conservative social values.
but isn't their governor and their whole state legislature Democrat?
I don't
That's-
know about that. But they don't typically put a lot of Democrats up there in Congress. They're
Right.
like the antidote to New Hampshire and
Yeah.
Massachusetts and New
England.
They're a pretty
Vermont.
true swing state.
Vermont.
They kind of are, yeah.
And didn't they split their districts too?
Yeah, electoral vote.
Yeah,
They
the electoral
they
vote.
do, yeah.
But that quote from him, Ed, that sounds like you.
What?
I remember you've said that before, where he says, "Our taxpayer dollars can build schools and hospitals in America, not bombs to destroy them in Gaza." I was like, "It sounds like Ed Doctor."
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And mind you, his opponent, Susan Collins, when she was asked about the U.S. citizens that were killed by Israel, she said, "I'm pro-Israel," and literally ran away.
That's insane.
It was in the halls of Congress. She literally ran away. Said, "I'm pro-Israel," and then ran away.
So that is such a weird fucking issue now. Israel's so weird now because of everything else going on. The Epstein thing, Mossad thing, like all this shit. So are they the true one world power because of Epstein?
kinda looking
Because of
like
the blackmail shit? Because of, the funding they get? Because of them getting to take as much land from Palestine as they want, whenever they want? Like, it's amazing that this country does get to do whatever the fuck it wants. And their citizens got great lives. They're not paying for a goddamn thing.
Right. But, like Joe Peck said, she's very concerned, and I think that she should be concerned because the rumors are coming out that Chuck Schumer is he's going to the bullpen to try to get someone to run against him.
Oh, really?
So this is going to be like Mamdani all over
Wait a second.
again.
The Democrats going to want to primary this
Yeah,
guy?
they're going to come out against this guy.
Because he thinks he can get Collins to vote the way he wants her to.
And this guy is
deals.
very. I mean, he's pretty liberal.
But he's like a big muscly dude.
Yeah.
He's like,
So am I and Ryan. We're all big muscular,
Right, he's hot. He's he's
super
chiseled.
hot.
Yeah.
So everyone's concerned about him, and everyone's concerned about this Mondami guy.
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying to get Adams. Adams was in
exactly.
Florida, trying to get him out of the race because everyone's so worried.
But like I said earlier, I don't think the Democrats have a young voter problem or a Latino or a working class voter problem. I think it's a
Democrat problem.
It's a Democrat problem. It's a top down. Like the party's gotten completely flipped.
Look at this guy.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the guy.
Yeah,
that's the guy.
That's
The
him
oyster
right
farmer.
there. Oyster farmer. I mean, he must have done that probably as a kid growing up and then worked for BlackRock.
And his whole thing is like he's kind of brash. He's a Marine.
Seems like it. He speaks well.
And he likes to fight. And he's like, I think that my voters, like the people that I talk to, they want to see fight out of the Democrats.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, the same kind of rhetoric as Trump.
Well,
but
not like insurrectionist
that's
fighting.
what the voters want. The voters want somebody who's going to fight for their values.
Yeah.
Right.
That's not what the Democratic Party wants.
No.
What the Democratic Party wants is nice.
Right.
They want a cushy lifestyle, like they want. I don't know what they want. I mean, it's tough.
So you don't think we have to fight now? That's what you're saying, Mike? Is that
Well, I think
we're
you
gonna
have
win,
to fight
we
for
gotta-
the values.
Yeah.
People need to know that you're on their side.
Especially with what's going on.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's time to pounce.
Yeah.
Republicans are in disarray. Things more expensive than they've ever been. Like it was going up during Biden and the MAGA and everything. Oh, they were nuts. Hamburger buns went to $2.
Right.
It's fucking nuts. I mean, it's on, and this is all bad. It's so bad. It's gotten worse. He's at 9 months now, almost 9 months. We're in the 9th month of his presidency. It's gotten worse, a lot worse.
Well, the tariffs are just kicking in
And they're
now.
just starting.
Yes.
their corporations
He talks about
were
the trillions
sucking it
it's
up for the
bringing
first
into
few
America.
months.
It's bringing in trillions into the Treasury. That doesn't do a fucking thing for any motherfucker in this country. But MAGA thinks it's fucking genius. And he's killing it. Fox News is talking about how great it is. These trillions of dollars are making off these other countries. Well, why are our prices going up? Is it corporate greed or is it the tariffs?
They
or what the
will.
fuck's going on? What's the truth?
The corporations have eaten some of it as long as they can because they want to see a Republican succeed in the White House. I really think that's what's happening. But
You think
but,
they're eating
we're getting-
profits because of that?
that right now, yeah.
Well,
they're-
they purchased a bunch of inventory because there was so much forethought, So they actually bought months and months worth of inventory, but that inventory's gone.
Well, even
now.
Walmart said, okay, well, we can eat some of this. We'll eat what we can, but now we're at
Well,
that
a lot of their
point
products
now,
have gone up.
But
They
now
have.
they're
starting
at
to.
the point now where they're like, hey, we can't do this anymore. And even
And
now
they're not carrying
Amazon
certain things.
And I mean, one under said thing is the Amazon part where they're no longer shipping really cheap shit to America free anymore because of whatever the rules that changed about shipping things into America. There used to be like a price point where if the product was less than a certain amount, it could get shipped free into America without paying the shipping taxes or whatever. But now now that's gone.
Right,
So
right.
so a lot of those things you're never going to get on Amazon anymore.
Yeah.
Like if
Well,
you
how
want to buy a
much shit
USB
do you
key,
actually need?
Right.
I mean,
Exactly. How much
look at
plastic
the
shit
amount
do
of
we need?
storage units in the Flathead County. I've been
that's a
thinking
big
about
one.
like how
Yeah.
many storage units. You got 40. They're putting up storage units everywhere,
They're
I
all
mean,
full.
How many washing machines do people have that they can't keep in their house?
I don't know. I don't understand it. I really don't. But I mean, people love stuff. And they
don't
love
know.
buying stuff, and I don't like that. Like I grew up differently for sure. If I have something, it lasts for a very long time. I just don't replace a pair of shoes. They got to have holes in them. I don't replace a T-shirt, even though the armpits are stiff and black. I don't replace it. It's still a T-shirt. It works. I'm not into having. But a lot of people and consumers, especially ones like I grew up around and stuff,
if it's a
always
putter-
going shopping. They're going shopping all the time. Like, why the fuck are you going to Target again? What are you doing at Target again? Why are you going
culture.
here?
It's our culture.
Like I spend money in shopping on food. Okay, I'm bad at that. I love good food, and I spend money on that. But pretty much nothing else. Okay.
Yeah, I did see a Cybertruck towing like a $280,000 boat, just coming out of the off of Skiles going up over
the good life.
up over the viaduct, and I was like, yeah, he's probably taking that to his storage unit.
Someone's got $500,000 in toy right there in the truck and the boat.
Yeah.
So this McDonald's thing I thought was interesting.
It is
This
interesting.
Our next deal. He's slashing the prices on value meals and
Mm-hmm.
signals he's going to back for a minimum wage increase. Like,
Right.
like trying to figure out how to make this work. That's what he's trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
Like,
He's close to getting it.
his food's so bad, but
close
people
to
don't care, I guess, you
This
know.
two-tier economy.
We're
where
going to
it's
get the
like,
99-cent Happy Meal back?
Well, maybe not that. but what explain this the two-tier economy that he's working?
Well, he basically talked about how wealth concentration is getting so top-heavy in America that you've got two tiers of the economy. You
How
have
dare a CEO say that?
right. You've got all the poor people that can't afford to buy anything, and then whole economies where it's just like we are only servicing 1% of the population. There's no one else that can buy what.
Kimosabe.
Our products, Kimosabe.
Welcome to Whitefish.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's like this guy, he's kind of dancing
Top
around.
1% except the dirtbags.
He's kind of dancing around what I think he should be talking about, where it's like, it's almost as if allowing a small subset of people to hoard a mass amount of wealth
Almost.
and then, keep it there and then fight tooth and nail against any redistribution of that wealth downward is bad for the overall economy.
Isn't that weird?
That is
How is
weird.
that coming
God,
to him
isn't
just
that
now?
strange?
When I would bet McDonald's and all the fast food industry is along the same lines as Walmart, where half their employees are in federal assistance,
And
these people are getting tax
the
breaks.
CEO
I mean,
to worker pay ratio at McDonald's is 475 to 1.
wow.
So it's like I said, he's close to getting it.
Wow.
But this to me is just lip
Wow.
service,
And-
really.
When America stopped, when we changed that tax rate, on corporations in the 80s more than we did in a while. I mean, this income gap, all this stuff has just, it's crazy.
Brutal.
That we're watching it happen 50 years in the making now, and we're still not doing, Democrats aren't doing
It's
anything
hard
about
to
it.
explain that to people. It's really hard to explain
It
that to
shouldn't
people.
be. It should be something we should be talking about in school. It should be things that people should know
it's-
about economics and stuff.
Well,
how this
people
it
don't
doesn't
know their
affect
history. I mean,
them.
the parties were created to stop the class warfare.
Right.
That's why the political parties were originally started, because we had to
Had to
corral
have some-
the
it had
people
to
so
have-
they weren't mad always at the
Yeah.
rich people.
Oh, hey, look at that. We got the menu right
That
up.
makes sense.
But it's one of those.
$5 make deals now.
It's one of those issues that, like,
Limited time only.
McValue is trademarked, huh?
oh yeah, it's
think
gotta
so.
Does
be.
that mean I can't say that at school anymore?
But going back to Walmart again, I mean, Walmart teaches their employees how to sign up for SNAP.
Sign up for
Yes.
Medicare.
They do.
Walmart
They
is
teach you how
the
to know.
biggest recipient of SNAP, because people go in there and buy their soda pop
Yep.
and whatever else for
Yep.
their SNAP dollars. And so Walmart's actually teaching the people their employees how to do that, and they keep their employees at a certain hour level so they can qualify for SNAP.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I always say that my liberal friends always say I'm way too conservative, and my conservative friends always say I'm way too liberal. And it's one of those things that my conservative friends always get mad at me about, because, I think a cashier at McDonald's should be able to pay their rent, pay their buy groceries, and pay their bills with
God,
their
you're an
paycheck.
idiot.
That's what a job is for.
Right now,
Any job.
Right now
job.
in Montana, if you're on the minimum wage, what is it, $10.50 or whatever it is?
No, it's
or
still
something-
under 9. It's just under 9. I think they raised it to 8.70
I think
or
it's
something.
10.55.
I think it's
something
10.55.
like that.
Montana,
Yeah.
yeah.
But if you
Yeah.
earn the
It went
minimum
up.
wage in
Oh,
Montana,
11.39.
you cannot afford to pay the medium rent in
No,
Montana.
God, not even close.
It just
Well,
doesn't
nobody
work.
pays that. And nobody pays that. That's where, okay, I get the right's argument of not raising the minimum wage federally, because nobody fucking pays it. Where are you going to get an employee for $7.25 an hour? You're not. So I think that's something that could work itself out, I guess,
To me, that's more of a local issue. Really, kind of, whatever the minimum wage is a local issue.
Yeah, you could live in Omaha, Nebraska, and probably fucking live off $7.25 an hour.
And at the same time,
know, man.
at
Probably
the
not.
same
You're
time,
right. Not even there.
At the same time, the federal government is there to say, okay, this is the minimum that you have to do, and you have to meet the needs of your constituents in your state and in your local areas. And there needs to be some sort of boost somehow, or some sort of incentive federally that allows states to, and forces states and local governments to take care of people at a certain level.
That seems high for
Steve,
Omaha.
are you saying that the federal government placing, conditions on fund and forcing businesses to do things? That sounds like socialism.
That is definitely socialism.
Yeah.
That is, yep. That's like
Yeah,
buying 10% of NVIDIA.
It's almost as bad as requiring Intel to give you 15% of their company.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
If you want to continue to
I
do
thought it was
business.
NVIDIA.
He's got us
Is
there.
it Intel or
He's
yeah.
got us
Oh
there.
yeah, yeah.
Look, if we can just get all these boomers out of these big houses,
Yes.
we can get some starter families back. And those
go, look,
boomers
you-
don't
you-
need those big houses.
The boomers go, look, you kids have to work harder. When I bought my home for
Yeah.
a handful of blueberries, I worked hard to pick those blueberries, damn it. And
Everybody deserves a certain amount of square feet, and once you exceed that, you gotta let squatters into the rest.
Yes,
How about
you do.
that? I
Yeah,
think
you're
that's
not
a good
using those
idea.
rooms; they got to be used. Oh my God! Hey, all right, we got a topic.
If you have 7 bathrooms and 4 bedrooms, I'm sorry, you're
Right.
gonna have to. Some people are sleeping on your couch.
Hey, real quick, I want to ask you a question that a lot of our viewers have asked me and messaged me about. So why wouldn't the cop in Whitefish, because you guys are getting sued now, instead of calling the Border Patrol, wouldn't he use Google Translate on his fucking phone?
No
I mean, I know
comment.
that's not your deal. You're not a cop. You're not part of it. But it dawned on me, like, like I could deal with this now because motherfucker's got a valid driver's license. I just saw it, but he can't speak English.
I didn't think you had to speak to the officer if you just gave him your license.
They don't know that. Nobody knows that. The officers are intimidating. People are afraid of them. Regardless. I was just asking that. And I knew you couldn't answer it anyway.
Nope.
So
It's under litigation. I can't.
real quick,
I can't even
because this
comment.
guy's such a fucking douchebag. I can't stand it. But you put him in our show, the Travis Kelce Taylor Swift marriage, and then douchebag
story.
retard moron Charlie Kirk, butthead himself, the live
big
version
story,
of
man.
Butthead, says Taylor Swift, he's excited. She's going to be a conservative now because she's going to get married, probably be barefoot, having kids. What the fuck is his point?
well, I have a couple thoughts on this.
Give me your theory, dude, because
let's
Jesus
see.
fucking Christ.
My first thought is that prenup is going to be the longest book Travis Kelce has ever
Without
read.
a doubt.
By far.
But he's okay. He's got millions himself.
I mean, it's going to be like, and if you could initial on page 473, Mr. Kelce, of Schedule B, you'd be like, oh, Jesus, can we break for the day?
I mean, she's a pretty phenomenal songwriter and a self-made billionaire.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Like one of the only artists to actually become a billionaire by writing the music, not reselling the music.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw the post, Steve, announcing their nuptials, but
No.
it said, your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married. That is stolen teacher valor.
It
I did
sure
not
is.
see
That
that.
is
I
stolen.
did
You
not
should
see
not like that.
You should be coming out of that chair right now.
Yes.
I teach neither one of those subjects, so
But-
it doesn't affect
Why
me.
is Charlie Kirk saying this?
But
What is
another
the big
interesting
deal?
part is, okay, so I think the Charlie Kirk thing is they're thinking, I've seen a lot of people on the right say that when Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift have a baby, it could lead to this second baby boom. That's their hope, is like, all these, 35-year-old women that are Taylor Swift fans that, live alone with their cats are going to say,
They're
okay,
gonna start having kids.
Taylor's having
Yeah,
a baby.
right.
I want to have a baby. And it got me
he's saying
thinking
that?
about, these Republicans like Charlie
Is
Kirk.
that what he said?
He didn't
or is
say
that.
that.
Is that you interpreting his words?
No, he didn't say that. He said what he said was even worse.
It was worse.
He
Yes.
said Taylor, now you have to understand you need to submit to your
Yes.
husband.
your
Oh,
husband,
right.
Yeah. yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course.
That's a
yes.
big Christian nationalist thing.
And then
is
other
women
right-wing
submitting.
commenters were saying that this could lead to a second baby boom and the white race can
Oh.
return and all that shit. But then it got me thinking about Republicans are always crowing about the low birth rate in America.
Yes,
really
they
are.
And then I saw that story about
They want to pay people to have babies.
about the U.S. birth rate hits an all-time low, and it's like,
They do pay people to have babies. Tax credits.
they go on these shows like J.D. Vance and it's like, we need to, the U.S. birth rate is so low, we don't know what the problem is. It's like, well, you've got the cost of health care is absolutely skyrocketing.
Yeah, I wonder why.
You've got
They'll
no-
never buy a house.
You've got no
How
paid,
much does it cost to have a baby?
There's no future for them at
About
all.
$20,000
So you've got the
just to get birth.
the skyrocketing cost of health care. You've got no paid family leave. You've got no universal child care. You have no real reasonably priced child care at all.
At all.
The cost
No
of
way.
college tuition is through the fucking roof. any life-saving medical care you could need for an abortion is likely to be denied, depending on which state.
Charlie
you live
Kirk would
in.
have an answer for every one of those.
The price of raising a kid from birth to 18 is now $310,000. So no fucking shit. The U.S. birth rate's at an all-time low.
Plus, your underwear are too fucking tight.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is that the new
Charlie Kirk would
generation,
say,
they're not
please-
drinking. They're not drinking
not.
as much anymore.
They're not. It's very
Right.
sad.
So of course
It's
there's
very
not as much
sad.
other stuff going on.
But
and there's a lot of guys who they only sit at home and do porn, and that's
Right.
a big thing.
Oh,
That's
and
actually happening.
girls. Yeah, without a doubt. Well, and like, Queer Eye for the Straight Guys making people gay. I watched South Park last night.
Yeah.
Turning into metrosexuals, and like
Right.
people are less interested in the opposite sex, I guess. That was a pretty funny episode. I'm psyched I'm watching that again. I really am. But
I started
so
watching
everything
South
you just
Park,
said,
yeah.
Ryan, Charlie Kirk's got an argument for everything. That's it. He's a master debater. I like
Yeah,
that term.
right.
But, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, make that money to afford to have that kid, you don't have to go to college because 4 years or, vocational school's the way to go. All these fucking answers this guy comes up with are just bullshit all the time.
Well, and they love to talk about this policy in Hungary where if
Yeah,
you
what-
have
that-
if you have
I never
4 or
heard
more
that.
children, you're exempt from income tax for the rest of your life.
So now I'm thinking about having kids and moving to Hungary.
So the way I think about it is
Wait, the kids too?
I think
Everybody?
it's just the parents, maybe just the mother.
Yes,
the
It's probably the dad.
But it got me thinking about how they always bring this up. This this is a way to, but at the same time you've got welfare queens having their welfare check kids.
Yeah.
It's just I don't
That's
see
how
how
it
this is
started. That's
I don't
how
see
it
how this
started,
is
man.
anything than just thinly veiled racism.
Yeah.
You know what?
That's how I
You
see
just
it.
said that, and I grew up that in the 80s, and that was the biggest
That
racist
was Reagan's
thing.
whole campaign.
All my friends' parents,
They want
and
more
all
white
talking about
kids in
welfare
America.
queens, and
They
all
want
these, they had
more
these
white
big problems
people
with
in
all these welfare queens.
Yes.
I'll be honest, I've never had a big problem with it. Some people want to have kids. They're lazy. I don't know what the fuck.
Right.
But this country's got so much fucking money. Why waste your goddamn breath on worrying about this?
Right.
Jesus Christ. But it's stuck.
Well,
And
these
and
guys
Rush
are,
Limbaugh made it
these guys are
stick.
pro-birth.
Yeah.
They're
They're
not
pro- yeah,
pro-life.
they're
They're
right.
pro-birth.
They're pro-birth.
As soon
The
as
minute
you're
it's
born,
born,
you are bloody on your own.
you are on your
So-
own, and you're fucked.
So before we move to this, which I love, I will say on a more serious note, kind of what to wrap up like the second half of what we were talking about with like the affordable housing crisis and the birth rate and how expensive it is to have children or raise children. I think you're now seeing an entire generation of people under the age of 30 that are seeing the reality of home ownership and
Yeah.
starting a family slip out of their grasp.
You think they might vote?
And I
doubt
don't think that we as a nation are ready for the consequences of what will happen when you have a whole generation of people who have no stake in the system whatsoever
you're right.
and would much rather just watch it burn.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting there. No, we're definitely getting
I
there.
think that
The
I
American
think about
dream
that a lot.
is gone, and a lot of people are saying
And I
it.
don't think the Chuck Schumers of the world are ready for that.
No. But both sides are saying that, too. I'm telling you, both sides have commentators and newscasters that are saying this, that because it's completely obvious that the American dream is dead. Essentially, it is dead. You can't do, like America used to do, you could do an awful lot of things. You could move somewhere that life could be, make yourself a better life. Back in the day, you'd move west. You could, like right now, there's places in the Midwest you still can go where it's not super, unaffordable,
Go to
but
Sheboygan.
it's still fairly expensive for what it is, and it's competitive. The jobs are not that great. I mean, you don't have that opportunity because who's gonna buy? What'd you just put up there in Omaha, Nebraska? The medium home price is what,
It was like 360 or something, yeah.
Oh my God! Have you been there?
No, I haven't.
It's fucking horrible.
Is it?
Oh my God! It's fucking.
I've always kinda
nasty.
wanted
Today's
to go,
episode
but-
is brought to you by the Omaha,
Steaks.
Nebraska
Omaha steaks.
tourism.
Oh, their steaks are great. It's not. I don't think they have a
Tourism
tourism board. No, there's no way Nebraska has a tourism board.
I don't know. I love Alexander Payne. He makes great movies. They're all
I'm
Sure.
going to send you
They're
a
all set
link.
in Omaha.
I'm going to
I'd
send
like
you a
to
link
go.
to the
Yeah.
Nebraska
I've
tourism
always kinda
board.
wanted
Well, you
Because
realize
I
shit,
guarantee
Iowa?
there is one.
I was actually better than Nebraska by
Really?
this much.
I'd
Oh
still
yeah,
go
it's
to
got a
Iowa.
ravine by the river.
I'd love to go see a game in Lincoln, like go to the Huskers. That'd be cool.
Dude, you would go do that and say that's a thing that say you did?
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Yeah, but hang out in Lincoln for a day. Holy fuck. It's Billings, but not as cool.
I think they invented the Reuben.
I'm telling you.
I think the Reuben was invented.
It's Billings, but not as cool.
I mean, what a great sandwich that is with the sauerkraut, corned beef,
Thousand Island dressing, rye bread.
What was with that park bench?
That is the most diverse sandwich you could ever come up with.
Yeah.
Omaha, Nebraska, the Reuben.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Blackstone Hotel.
You got Jewish bread, German kraut, corned beef. Where is that? That must be English.
Yeah.
Where they corned everything.
Probably Swiss cheese.
Thousand Island dressing. That's got to be an American
Russian.
invention. Nobody else would think to put ketchup and mayonnaise.
Is Russian dressing
together.
Thousand Island? Is that the same thing?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought Thousand
never
Island
knew.
was like Big Mac sauce.
It's kind of that too.
Yeah, it's
Mixed with
ketchup,
maybe?
mustard, and pickle sauce,
Yeah.
pickle relish. It's ketchup, mayonnaise, and pickle relish, not mustard.
Thousand Island is typically sweeter and chunkier due to the sweet pickle relish. Yeah, good call, Steve.
Okay.
Sometimes hard-boiled eggs. Whoa.
God, isn't AI great?
I know. Look at that.
It is. It really is.
Well, we live in a world we don't have
So
to
what are we
wonder
looking at
anymore.
here?
So this is my special story of the week. I saw this.
That's a very liberal.
I
looking
saw
thing.
this, and I
Is this right downtown?
I saw this, and I got a
Quote,
huge,
special
I got a huge
story.
kick out of it. Well, first I got mad, and then I got a huge kick out of it because
That is really dumb.
you're seeing a lot of cities that are like, oh, we're trying to make the parks more handicap inclusive.
Don't
Really,
they already have a chair?
really, what they're trying to do is they just don't want homeless people to lie down, so that's why they do that.
Makes total sense now.
So that's why I got mad, but then I started laughing because I was looking at it and I was like, okay, people in a wheelchair, they ain't exactly starved for places to sit down.
No, that's what kind of threw me off about this. Like, it looks like a super.
That's
dumb
where you
liberal
lean your
idea.
cane. That's where
Yeah.
you lean your cane
It's
when you sit on the seat.
I would imagine if you had a
That's
guy in a
what it's
wheelchair
for.
and you asked him, does he want this or, I don't know, maybe a ramp?
To me, it seems like a Nancy Pelosi idea to make things better for handicapped people. You know.
Hey.
Well, this looks like a good idea.
But yeah, I got a big kick
now
out
you
of
can
it.
Why
sit,
can't they
now you
just
can
sit over
in
there?
between your two kids instead of having to
But
sit
it's
on
really just to stop
one
homeless
side or
people
the
from
other.
having
That
a
makes sense.
comfortable place to lie down.
I can see that. You know, like that's not. Wow, dude, that's fucking weird. That's funny. That is
Well,
funny.
I walked from Flathead High School into town, into Kalispell the other day to get a coffee before in the middle of my 12-hour day because we had we had back to school night last night, and I was walking up by St. Matt's, you know where that is.
Yeah.
And the church there is the school's on one side, the church is on the other side of the street, and there's this big spruce tree where the limbs come almost all the way down to the bottom. And I was walking by and I was like, oh, there's a sleeping bag all the way pushed up next to the trunk of the tree, so you really can't see it very well. And there was somebody in there sleeping.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah, probably dry and cozy.
yeah, seriously, but yeah, it's homelessness is a problem. Even in Kalispell, Montana, it's even way up here in the Great White North. It's
I'd say
it's a hard
especially
place.
in Kalispell.
Yeah.
They have homeless people in Havre. That
Really?
blows my mind.
Yeah.
Yes, I was there for the Tavern Association convention last
Haver
year.
has it, man.
Yeah, they sure have it. Holy cow! Wow. Before we end, this gerrymandering fight is still going on. It's still big news. It's going to be for a long time.
Yeah.
So this expert, Professor Wang, was on the Dan Abrams show.
Go on.
And he talked about his expertise is gerrymandering.
Okay.
He said if it was all done fairly, he's looked at every single state in the country. If it was all done fairly and by the book and right, the Republicans would have a 4-seat advantage in the House if it was done fairly. They have a 7-seat advantage right now. No matter all the gerrymandering that's been done, all the shit that you're bitching about, that everybody's bitching about,
So fairly meaning like just
if everything was done by where their voters live, or no, in just districts of area that don't snake around different.
Oh,
cities
the
where all
maps are drawn.
Black people live
Okay,
here,
gotcha.
so whoa, go down here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
stacking
Yeah.
and cracking.
Exactly.
Yeah,
If they're all gridded in squares of
It's kind of like when they created that Zinke district. They pulled Lewis and Clark
Took
out of the
Helena out.
Western. Yeah.
Right.
Why didn't the Democrats fight that more? Could they ever know? Was
I
it?
thought they tried. That map went to the courts a few times.
No, they actually Democrats did it themselves.
Oh,
they
boy.
didn't have to go to the courts, and the courts didn't have to get involved in that. Democrats aren't very good at some of that stuff because we really like to be nice and
Yes,
fair.
we have
and
feelings.
kind,
Other
and,
people have feelings too.
I know
not
they do.
just us.
Yeah.
Graham
They do.
Plattner's coming. He's got a thing or two to say about
God
that.
damn it.
I don't know why we have to have all this gerrymandering. Just make them all at large.
That would be
Yeah,
Elect them like you elect the senators.
You know what? And you know what? We're the only frickin'
We got a
society.
17th Amendment for a reason.
We're
damn
the
it.
only
Use it.
voting society
Thank God we don't just appoint senators anymore.
that
Jeez.
has no
17th
shit.
Amendment,
No
that's what
shit.
that was, yeah.
But we're the only voting class, voting society, country, whatever it is, that has an electoral college. We're the only one. That is
Really?
fucking nuts. And you know what? I used to be on the side that's saying like, you know, yeah, every state should deserve the same. You know what? I have really gone away from that.
Could you?
I have really gone away from that
They don't get the
because
same though. They don't. The electoral
every
college
state
is
gets.
not-
Well, I'm talking about senators, right?
Oh.
I'm sorry, switch the subject. I'm talking about the senators. You know, like it's like, huh? You know, so but same thing with with that is your state gets so many delegates. You know, and it's
But I
like,
mean,
fuck, this is so bad. Like,
could you imagine if we got rid of the electoral college? And we
oh
were
my god,
and we
people
were
had to
stuck to the popular
the
vote.
popular vote. That
You'd
somebody
run
that
into
won.
this horrible national nightmare where only 8 or maybe 9 states would decide an election. No, thank you.
I would not want
no
that
way.
at
That is
all.
That would
No
be
way.
terrible.
way.
Yeah.
You know, even though Trump won with the popular vote too, who knows? Maybe not. I mean, I'm not trusting anything. Oh, real
you're
quick,
an election
moving,
denier now,
moving
too.
space. Yeah, I
Okay.
am moving
Oh.
Space Force from Colorado to New Mexico or to Alabama.
Alabama.
Fucking awesome. Okay, Tommy Tuberville had something to do with that for
Sure,
sure. Expert negotiator, I'm sure he is. But
Shitty
Trump's
football
reason, did you see it? Here's reason. His reason was they have mail-in voting in Colorado. They have it in fucking Alabama.
Of course they do.
They have it
have
everywhere.
it everywhere.
They have it in 30 other countries around the world. You know what I'm saying?
This is an issue because of the midterms.
Of course
we
it
know
is.
it's a midterm
You know,
issue. You
all these jobs, he's just, and this
Yeah.
is something he can do. He can hurt a blue state by
Democrat,
moving something
yes.
big that
Colorado's
hires,
also
that
a
has
blue
thousands
state.
of employees. He can do this as the power of the president of the United States, which I think is very wrong, and we're going to go in a really bad place right now. When he can take a government-funded company, or entity that employs thousands of people and move it to a state that's a red state, just because he wants to. That's fucked up.
I don't think that's that. I really don't think that's
You support
too.
that?
I don't think that's too unheard of in presidential politics over time. I don't think.
I look for other
that-
examples,
That
and I
is
can't.
that is the least of our worries.
What
you
they
know
did
what?
during the first
Well,
term, they were moving the USDA
Space Force-
offices all
Space
over
Force is a
because they were
Netflix
trying to
show.
get rid of the scientists, and nobody
When
really
they-
wants to move.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
not a cool thing because they're saying these people don't want to leave Colorado either.
Yeah.
So you're losing the people that have invested everything they have in the state Space Force. They're the experts, like we're doing to the CDC, like we keep doing to everything. You're right. FDA. I mean, dude, what are you gonna do? You're giving that. We need to take a serious look at how much power we actually give our president, because I think it's way too much. And I think a lot of America would say that.
Well, John Roberts disagrees.
It's been
Fuck John
this
Roberts.
this administration is testing all of those boundaries.
Yes. Yep.
100%. The growth of presidential
And maybe
power
somebody had to do it.
it started with FDR.
Yeah,
and it's been an issue.
Every
since
president
the
is always
30s.
kind of
the Constitution. The
But
Constitution.
this is unheard of.
The Constitution was set up to have a very weak president. Very weak president.
As it should. As we
And
should. You're right. You're
Andrew
right.
Jackson tested those boundaries first, and he won a lot of battles.
Yep.
Indian removal was his pet.
Yep.
His pet
Project.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. And and he won those battles. Then things kind of switched back over. But then Lincoln had a lot of power.
Yeah.
He did. And the Project 2025.
But a lot of the
whatever
power
it is-
Lincoln had, and people before Trump, though, they had a lot of support, too, generally, from the population. A lot of things FDR did. Like, there was a lot of support. Right
Lincoln-
now, the support's
Lincoln-
not there.
Lincoln did not have a whole lot of support.
You don't bring up Lincoln around Steve. He's
Well,
from South Carolina.
I think, okay, you're right. He is a South Carolinian. Okay, sorry,
to
Steve.
secede,
I
baby.
didn't mean to get at your roots.
Well, it's called the theory. It's called the theory of the unitary executive.
Yes.
And it's been advanced. Every president kind of sees how far they can push. It's a
But
guy
it's on
Not
steroids.
Sleepy Joe.
Yeah, not Sleepy
No,
Joe.
Sleepy Joe didn't push a whole lot.
And there's a guy,
Auto pen,
there's a
maybe.
guy-
That was
He was
it.
busy making his family very wealthy.
There's a guy, Neil Katyal. He's on MSNBC. He's this hotshot DC lawyer. You've seen him 100 times.
yeah.
He's argued in front of the Supreme Court. I think he has the record for, hundreds of times. But he's always on a short list to become the next Supreme Court justice. But he has argued so many times against this theory of the unitary executive in front of the Supreme Court. And it's like, Neil, you're a smart guy. No president is going to appoint you a Supreme Court justice.
Especially if you keep making
because
this argument.
all you're going to do is curtail their power. And it's like, I'm sure he knows that. But I always get a big kick out of it when I see, like, Neil Katyal is on the short list. It's like, fucking no, he's not.
That's pretty funny.
And it'd be stupid to appoint him.
All right, boys.
This is the biggest test we've ever had of how far the executive can go.
Well, because
can you fire
It's with a
everybody?
K.
Can
It's
you
like-
withhold all the
it's like
money that's already been
KA.
approved by Congress?
Well, having the nuts to do
every
something,
single thing.
Yeah, Neil Katyal.
having the nuts to do stuff that isn't popular, sometimes it's necessary, but this is just fucking weird right now. You know?
It's not just not popular. It's not necessary. Most of the things that are
You're
happening.
right. It's not. It's not.
Well, it's necessary because Congress isn't doing shit.
True.
You know, so
somebody's got to do
somebody's
something.
gotta do something.
Somebody's got to do something. Maybe
Congress
that's.
is just earning a wage.
Yes, they sure are. I hate them. Oh my god.
The
Well, I've got
immigrant.
Neil
Yeah.
Katyal up there.
That's Neil
Not gonna get
Katyal.
up there.
Yeah. Oh, that's
the
oh
guy.
yeah. No,
that's
yeah.
him.
He's awesome. He is.
That's
He's
him.
a good debater.
Yep.
All right. Well, I guess we'll see you guys next week.
Yep. Take care,
All
everybody.
We have
Appreciate
Bratwurst
it.
next
Thanks,
week.
Thanks,
Kevin.
Kevin.
Brats and Kraut.